I can do what I want when I want to do it. I can do what I need when I need to get through it. When I need someone else, can't be too proud for help, but gotta look after myself. Sometimes it can get lonely, never living in the moment. When the sun is shining, hope that I'm reminded, like how the clouds keep changing. I'm always steady rearranging, going back to the basics of what a good day is. What a good day is. And that's exactly what the day is. But it's exactly what you make it. So please don't go wasting. And I'll do the same, even if it's raining. How could I complain? And my feels got me feeling some type of way. You always free to take a break. Hope you feel what I felt. You gotta look after yourself. Sometimes it can get lonely, never living in the moment. When the sun is shining, hope that I'm reminded, like how the clouds keep changing. I'm always steady rearranging, going back to the basics of what a good day is. Of what a good day is. What a good day is. And that's exactly what today is.
All right, we are back in the building. Shout out to everybody who's in here. Y'all know what to do. Drop a 1 in the chat if you could hear me. Drop a 1 in the chat if you could see me. We are back in the building. I see everybody in there. Hopefully y'all are doing well on this Tuesday morning, Taco Tuesday up in here. Welcome to another episode of the YouTube live stream and an episode of the Music Morning Show, the ClassE Morning Show. I'm your host, ClassE Beats of ClassEbeats.com, patreon.com/ClassEbeats, by the way. Make sure y'all check it out. Link is in the description as well as in the pinned comment in the chat. We're going to get into a great show today. We've got a couple of other things to get to before we get to the TAY trial, but we're mainly going to spend our show today on the TAY trial because we've got a lot of catching up to do, and we're going to get into day 5 and possibly day 6 today. But before we get into that, I gotta say what's up to the people, man. Shout out to everybody who's in here. I see y'all in the building. We've got my awesome, amazing Amy is in here first thing in the morning. Shout out to Amy. We've got Michi in here. Mr. Brown's in the building. Praying for you, Mr. Brown. Hopefully you're doing well. He said doctor appointment this morning. I will be back before y'all are through. Good to see you in here. Les Cleaver in the building. Valencia, Kara Hampton's in here. We got Shauna. BSB's in the building. Taco Tuesday. It's your day. Shout out to Taco Tuesday. A Fitz is in here. Jay Buckmaster, my dog. We got Libby22 SC girl in here. Hillia, good morning. And I know I missed a couple of y'all. We've got Trisha, Walter Wallers, Waller Custom and Leather. Derek is back at it. Good to see y'all, man. Hopefully y'all are doing good this morning. We're gonna go ahead and get right into it because we've got a lot to cover today. But if y'all could do me a major favor, please like the video on your way in. Not only is it free, not only does it help the channel to grow, but it does let the algorithm know that you guys are enjoying the show, and it shares the video out with more people. All right, I got a couple of super chats I want to read and get to as well, and then we'll get into the rest of the show. Thank you again to everybody who sends in super chats. If you send a super chat, I will be reading those throughout the show. First up, we got Michi here with the 2-ball. Shout out to Michi. What does she say? She says, have a wonderful day all. Be safe and free Yak Gotti. Man, I gotta look and see when Yak Gotti's hearing is because I can't remember the date, but hopefully it's soon they get that man up out of there. If some of y'all may have seen, and I saw somebody mention it in the chat earlier, that I do have jury duty. Well, I have to report for jury duty to see if I'm going to be selected for a jury coming up in a little while. So if I do go there, I'm thinking about getting a free Yak Gotti t-shirt if he's not out by then, and wearing it to my jury summons, just so they can know where I stand. So yeah, I'm gonna get a free Yak Gotti t-shirt, and I'm gonna wear it up there to the Fulton County Courthouse. Hopefully Yak Gotti will be out by then, though. We'll see. Shauna's in here. She also dropped a 5 bomb. Just showing some major love. Shout out to Shauna. I appreciate you. And then let me make sure I didn't miss anybody else. All right. So I think we're good. I'm going to go ahead and get into the show again. Make sure y'all like the video on your way in. And we're going to go ahead and get into it. So to kick off the show, we are talking about Diddy and Cassie. What is going on? As y'all know, everybody knows what's going on with this Diddy trial. Unfortunately, it's a federal case, so we won't be able to see what goes down day to day. But we are finding out more information on what's going to happen when the trial takes place. As a lot of you know, Cassie is going to be victim number 1 in this trial. She's going to be the key witness when it comes to everything that went on with Diddy and the Diddy enterprise and everything that happened behind the scenes, right? We know she settled for a $30 million lawsuit. And there were some interesting terms in that lawsuit, which we went over and reviewed, especially when it comes to how Diddy and Cassie's relationship can go moving forward. Now, we're going to talk about that here in a second, but I want y'all to see what's going on and some of the updates that we have when it comes to how trial proceedings are going to go. All right. So shout out to XXL for this one. What do they say? Cassie Ventura will be the, they should have said, only alleged victim in the Diddy trial to testify using her real name. Everybody else, it seems like, is going to remain anonymous. Diddy's ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, will testify at his certain crimes trial under her own name. Cassie to take the stand in the Diddy trial. On April 4th, federal prosecutors filed a preliminary statement for the upcoming trial in the United States District Court of the Southern District of New York. The motion gives details about 4 witnesses who plan to take the stand during the trial. While 3 of the alleged victims will testify anonymously, Cassie will not. Now, this is interesting because with Cassie testifying under her own name, there was a part of the lawsuit that she filed and was eventually settled that a part of the settlement, it was alleged that Cassie and Diddy aren't going to be able to speak about each other. They aren't going to be allowed to say certain things. And it seems like maybe there's some type of loophole here because she's having to testify that she'll be able to. I don't know. It's very interesting. Either way, the government currently expects that victim 1, 2, 3, and 4 will testify at trial. The motion reads, victim 1, she's prepared to testify under her own name. That's Cassie, right? Victim 2, victim 3, and victim 4 have asked that their identities not be revealed to the press or the public. We're going to find out who they are. Let's be real. Cassie was identified as victim 1 through court documents, which list her as the person Diddy assaulted at the Intercontinental Hotel in LA in 2016. Video of the incident was released to the public last May. All right. So what did they say? Following a 3rd suspending indictment that was filed on April 3rd, Diddy is now facing 1 count of racketeering conspiracy and 2 counts of trafficking and transportation to engage in prostitution. Since his arrest on September, Diddy's legal team has been calling into question the now infamous video of Diddy striking and kicking Cassie in a hotel hallway. They accuse the feds of leaking the video and show an altered version of the clip in order to get the judge to deny Diddy's bond. Diddy has pleaded not guilty to the charges against him, and the Bad Boy Entertainment founder's trial is expected to begin on May 12th. Now, TMZ has some more information and is going to get into the background here. So let's hear what they have to say.
There is something about this, honestly, it doesn't make sense. Not this
the NDA,
part.
exactly.
Cassie, who is the star witness in this case.
She is referred to in the indictment as victim 1.
And everybody knows it's her because they reference her with respect to the beating video. So we know Cassie is victim 1. She is going to display herself as Cassie. She's not going to be anonymous.
Right.
There was talk about that, but there are 3 other alleged victims. And somehow the feds are saying, we will keep them anonymous. And That doesn't make sense to me.
What they are saying, what the feds have said, is that victims 2, 3, and 4 will testify, but use pseudonyms, not even like initials. They're just going to have some pseudonym that they use when referring to victims 2, 3, and 4 who are expected to testify.
So the guy to my left could go as Jeffrey Goldstein, but we know it's not Jeffrey Goldstein because I'm looking at him right now.
Are you saying I could not be named Jeffrey Goldstein? What are you trying to say?
For all sorts of reasons.
What are you trying to say, Harvey?
For all sorts of reasons, you're not Jeffrey Goldstein.
You don't know who my daddy is. But it is going to be interesting once the trial starts. So you'll have Cassie.
Yeah, I wish we could watch it.
Testifying, a pregnant Cassie, by the way, testifying openly in court.
Congratulations.
But what they do with the other 3, I mean, there are a number of ways they could do it.
I spoke to somebody connected to the defense, and all I got back is that's impossible.
Well, there are certainly people who are going to know who it is. I would imagine they have to let the jury see the face.
They're going to take the stand. And yes, because look, one of the things about testifying in a case is the jury isn't just listening, they are looking. They are looking at facial expressions, body language,
reactions,
hesitation, reactions, all of that. And, you know, if they, you know, put them in a different room and blur their face, that opens the door, if Diddy gets convicted, to an appeal.
So the other option would be to clear the court, but the media is still going to, you can't not have the media in there.
Well, I mean, they could seal it because, you know, but that doesn't make sense. I can't imagine they're going to seal this case. They seal, you know, certain child custody cases, guardianship cases. You know, Britney Spears, for example.
Cassie
that was
would probably
all
be the
sealed.
first
You
one.
couldn't go in. This is different.
Could they seal it because you're dealing with alleged sexual assault victims?
No, I mean, if you look at the history, at least, look, I don't know what the feds are thinking, but that's not what happens in court. And again, I just had a very cursory talk with somebody who said, you know, connected to the defense team, that's just impossible. It's not going to happen. I don't see how it happens.
I think it's really difficult to do, but the feds have some competing interests here. This is a case that involves sex trafficking. You've had child sex trafficking cases where you can blur witnesses' faces. You're absolutely right, though, that the jury will want to see the credibility and make those determinations based on body language and facial expressions. But there are other interests involved here, and if those other 3 victims want to preserve their anonymity and did that in exchange for cooperation with the feds' case against Diddy, they're going to try to accommodate them.
Well, yeah, but wait a minute. You don't think there is grounds for appeal if they blur their face and have them testify in another room? They're adults.
Yeah, look, I think Diddy's team will certainly see it as a ground for appeal, right? They can say, like, how could the jury...
Do you see it that way?
I don't know. It depends on what sort of restrictions and how they balance the competing concerns there. Diddy certainly has a right to confront the people who are testifying against him. That is a core constitutional right, and to the extent that's undermined in any way, it would be grounds for appeal. But the feds do have a case for protecting some of the anonymity of people to encourage people to come forward.
They never said in the legal papers how they're going to protect their anonymity. They never explained it. So I
maybe they're going to have like, I don't know, some type of glass. It's weird. And even if they do, quote unquote, protect their anonymity, we're going to find out who it is. You can see people leaving the courtroom, especially if it's someone who's notable, which I could imagine that in some of these cases, it's the case.
I just don't get it. I don't understand how they do it. And I don't believe they would go that far that they would open themselves up to an appeal on this.
The 2 most important things are that the jury get to see them and that the alleged victim, if it's a sexual crime, they have a right to not have their identity out there, right? I mean,
you can do a Jane Doe, because we've seen this before, where there are Jane Does, even in civil cases, where the judge says, no, you've got to disclose. Once the trial happens, you could do it as a Jane Doe when you file. But once the trial happens,
you got to show up.
Stand. You're the moving party in a civil case. Here, there are star witnesses, and Diddy has a right to confront the star witnesses. And the question is, if you remove them from the courtroom, which you can do with minors, but not a
with
situation.
adults,
I just don't see it happening. I don't understand it. I don't understand.
I wonder maybe if there's something in the law that allows for, if they were a minor when the alleged crime happened. Maybe Justin Bieber. I don't know. I cannot remember how old he was when he allegedly had his run-ins with Diddy, but he was pretty young. He was a teenager from what I remember. So maybe there's something there. Can y'all imagine one of the reasons Justin Bieber has been so quiet throughout this is maybe because he's victim 2, 3, or 4? Dang. Some of y'all are saying he was 13, I think. I don't know.
Understand.
Hi, Shamika Sanders from Staten Island. And I think it's incredibly brave for Cassie to take the stand in this case against Diddy because his legal team has done so much in their power to change the narrative around her story. So who better than her to tell her story?
Yeah, I mean, it makes a big difference. You're absolutely right.
All right, so there is the story from TMZ. Y'all let me know what you think about this in the comment in the chat. I want y'all to guess who you think victims 2, 3, and 4 are. And is there going to be an issue with this moving forward with the other victims remaining anonymous? I don't know. Again, I'm with Harvey on this one. I don't see how they're able to pull this off while making sure Diddy has all his rights available to it. I see y'all also mentioning in the comments and in the chat as well that maybe there's going to be an issue moving forward with the federal charges in here because they're introducing more charges. Either way, y'all let me know what you think about this in the comments and in the chat. Yeah, y'all are saying definitely Justin Bieber. Here's the problem though. Again, when lawyers or police officers speak, you have to be very conscious of what they're saying. So here's the thing. Diddy's lawyers have said multiple times that there were no crimes against children committed. So with that being said, I would say it's most likely that Justin Bieber wasn't involved while he was a minor, if what they're saying is true. If not, would there be some type of stipulation that, okay, this crime was committed against him when he was a minor, so he doesn't have to testify, or Diddy doesn't have a right to see or to speak with him, as y'all were saying in the chat. So I don't know. It's very confusing. 48 hours with Diddy and no one thought it was weird. It's crazy. Can't unsee Justin performing Lonely and not thinking something happened. Oh gosh. There is video evidence. If there is, I haven't seen it. Didn't they say that victim 2 was also an ex-girlfriend, or am I misremembering? Not that I'm aware of. I know victim 1, Cassie, is definitely an ex-girlfriend. If there is a minor, the court most times shields the minor. And again, Diddy's lawyers have stated that, Diddy's lawyers have stated that there were no minors involved. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Either way, speaking of TAY, I see y'all talking about in the chat. Let's go ahead and get back into day 4 of this TAY trial. We've got a lot of testimony to get to today. If y'all haven't been updated on this, we heard some interesting testimony. Over the last couple of days from some key witnesses in this case. And now today we're actually going to get into the main witness who actually was able to see what went down, identify certain things. But before we get to that, we've got another instance where we're going to see some of the items that were recovered at the scene once the police arrived. So let's go ahead and get into it. Make sure y'all like the video on your way in too.
Please be seated. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your patience. I think all of the computer equipment is now working. We shall see. All right, state. Yes.
Your Honor, may I present the stipulation that the state and defense had entered into with regard to the previous matter that the jury heard about?
Yes. And what exhibit number would you all like to mark that as?
If it could be a court exhibit number 1, Judge?
We can say court 1 if everyone is okay with calling it courts 1.
May I
Yes.
present it to the jury and then I will hand it to the court so we can put it.
Any objections to the defense reading it into the record for the jurors?
No.
I don't think it matters who reads it.
No.
This is a stipulation of evidence which will be a part of the evidence in this cause. The state of Texas and defendant Tamar McIntyre agree and stipulate that the individual
George
identified
smoking.
by the Bexar County Medical Examiner as Mark Anthony Saldivar is the deceased named in the indictment, and that the cause of death is a gunshot wound by firearm. Can I present this, Your Honor?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll mark it as courts 1.
Thank you.
And for the record, the stipulations have been signed. It was signed by your client as well, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. He is present. You signed that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so it has been signed by the defendant, by the attorney for the defendant, and also by the assistant criminal district attorney. All right, State, you may call your next witness.
Yes, Your Honor. The state calls crime scene investigator Allison Bustamante.
We got another investigator in here. Oh, she's got all the evidence. Oh my goodness.
Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you can lower your hand. Make sure you keep your voice up for members of the jury. If you can state your name and spell your last name, please.
Allison Bustamante. It's Bustamante.
All right, State, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Bustamante, can you please just tell the jury how you're currently employed?
I'm employed with the City of San Antonio.
And what do you currently do for the City of San Antonio?
I'm a crime scene investigator.
And
We
can
got
you please
CSI
describe
back in here.
what a
Here we
crime scene
go.
investigator does?
We're responsible for responding to calls, analyzing, looking for evidence. We process, collect, and make sure that it's submitted correctly.
And do you have to go through certain training to become a crime scene investigator for the City of San Antonio?
Yes.
And can you just briefly tell them what type of training you have to go through?
Initially, it's a modified version of the police academy. You have 400 hours of coursework that's geared toward crime scene, mock crime scene, things like that.
That's a lot. 400 hours.
And
Jeez.
let me take you back to April of 2017. Were you then employed with the City of San Antonio SCPD as a crime scene investigator?
Yes.
And on a particular occasion on April 28, 2017, were you dispatched to a scene at 7243 San Pedro?
Yes.
And can you tell the jury why you were dispatched there, please?
Initially, I was called out just for an abandoned vehicle. When I arrived, the officer advised me that it was for an abandoned vehicle that was possibly involved in a murder.
And when you, after you made that initial contact, what were your duties at that scene?
To walk the scene, to look for and identify any items of evidence, to photograph, to decide what needed to be printed, blatant prints.
And did you collect any items at that scene that particular day?
I did.
And did you do anything else at the scene?
I took photographs at that location.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I took
agree.
photographs.
Okay. And did anybody else assist you at the scene?
Yes, I did call for some help.
And who was that individual?
That was CSI R. Hurtado.
And
CSI
did he
San
also make the scene
Antonio.
that day?
Yes.
And do you know what his responsibilities were?
For latent prints of the exterior of the vehicle.
Now, on this particular day, did you make access to the vehicle on the inside?
No.
And why is that?
We were in need of a search warrant.
And so you did not have a search warrant for the inside of the vehicle, but you did for the outside?
The outside a search warrant is not needed.
Okay. And so after you performed all your duties at this location, what happened to the vehicle?
The vehicle was sent to the ground and pound to be stored in a secure area, waiting the search warrant.
And it was transferred to the pound. Did you ever make access to it over at the pound?
I did not.
And did you ever see the vehicle again?
I did.
And where did you see the vehicle?
The vehicle was going to be processed, so that's when I had the vehicle removed from the pound and brought to the 9th Street secure vehicle processing facility that we have.
Okay. And did you, at that time, have a search warrant for the inside of the vehicle?
We did.
And did you gain access to the inside?
Yes.
And then at that time, did you collect evidence, or I'm sorry, what did you do at that time once you were at that secure location?
It would help if, do you have a version of my report
Yes.
to refresh my memory?
You have 2 reports for this case, is that correct?
Correct.
I'm going to show you what's been marked State Exhibit 104 and 105.
Yeah.
Can you just go ahead and review those and tell me if you recognize them?
2 days ago.
Yes, I do.
And are these fair and accurate copies of the report that you made for this case?
They are.
Okay. And so if you can review that and then answer the question.
So on this day, I searched for evidence. I also completed a sketch of the items that were to be collected as evidence, and I collected the evidence.
Well, okay, let's go back to San Pedro Avenue and speak about that location. I'm going to show you what's been marked stated number 69 through 87. It might be upside down at times, but if you can go through that and review those and tell me if you don't mind keeping them in order. Thank you. Now, State Exhibit number 69 through 87, are you familiar with each of these photos?
Yes.
And do they fairly and accurately represent what they purport to be?
Yes.
And I know that a couple of these photos were not taken actually at the San Pedro Avenue, is that correct?
Correct.
And in particular, 87, State Exhibit number 87 and 86 were taken, where were they taken at?
They were taken back at our crime scene lab.
Okay. But all the other photos were taken at the scene on San Pedro?
Correct.
And Your Honor, we'll offer State Exhibit number 69 through 87 in evidence. We'll tender defense for any objections.
What do y'all think the verdict is going to be? Let me ask in the chat.
No objections.
All right, State Exhibit 69 through 87 is admitted without objection.
May I publish, Your Honor?
Yes.
Yeah, we don't know what the defense is trying to argue yet. They haven't made a strong argument, in my opinion.
I'll show you what's been marked
I'm
State
with you on
Exhibit number 69. Can you tell the jury what we're looking at here?
This was the location of the vehicle in the parking lot.
And when you're at a scene and you're taking pictures, can you tell the jury when you initially take the pictures, what do you do when you're at a scene and the version of taking pictures? For instance, can you tell them what you're doing here with state exhibit number 70?
That's part of a sequence. When you arrive at a scene and you decide what you're going to be photographing, you're going to take a 360 of the area to put everything in relationship to one another to orientate the viewer.
So in this particular photo, if I may, if you're facing the car, you take a right and you took a picture to the right.
Correct.
Okay. State exhibit number 71, you're turning all the you're facing away from the car. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. I think they get the picture here. State exhibit number 72, is that just turning again?
Correct.
State exhibit number 73, also turning?
Correct.
Okay. And then now we're on to state exhibit number 74. What is this a picture of?
A picture of the abandoned vehicle.
And this is from the front of the vehicle, is that correct?
Correct.
State exhibit number 75 is just a different angle from the back view, is that correct?
Correct.
And can you read the license plate on that vehicle?
The license plate is Hotel H Sierra Whiskey 6017.
Okay, thank you. I want to show state exhibit number 76. And in this photo, again from the front, but it looks like there's a little grassy area and bushes. But I see some numbers. Can you describe and tell the jury what those numbers indicate?
Those are the items that I have identified needed to be collected as evidence.
And this item here is number 1. What would that item be?
Number 1 was a wallet, an empty wallet.
And number 2?
Number 2 is an empty cigarette package.
Number 3?
What happened to
3
the phone?
is an empty chocolate milk container.
And number 4?
4 is an empty black glasses pouch.
Oh, I'm sorry?
A glasses pouch.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's been marked state exhibit number 77. It looks like a closer view of item number 1. And I think you indicated that that was a wallet.
Correct.
State exhibit number 78 is a closer view of that wallet. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you. And then state exhibit number 79. Again, closer views of number 2 and number 3, the cigarette package and the milk container.
Correct.
State exhibit number 80. That is, it looks like now there's a 4 and a 5. What would 5 indicate?
5 is a pair of sunglasses. There was a missing lens.
And 4 is, just to make sure, is that empty glasses pouch.
Correct.
State exhibit number 81 is another angle of the, it looks like just for the distance from that vehicle. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you. State exhibit number 82. What does it indicate with this 6 here?
There was another item found. E6 was a cross pendant.
And it looks like there's an E7.
Correct. E7 would indicate where I took swabs. I took a swab of the exterior hood.
And can you describe to the jury what you mean by swab?
In an effort to obtain biological material, possible biological material, we'll swab that area.
Close up of number 6, state exhibit number 83. Is that what was near that car?
Correct, underneath the vehicle.
And then another photo of it just a long ways along that curved area, state exhibit number 84. And it indicates that there's, what is this right here?
That was an empty beer can.
Now, I guess when you're at a scene, do you know what happened?
No.
So how do you know what to sort of collect and what not to collect?
Based on what's around the vehicle, if you can tell that it's an area that's generally clean, they don't have a lot of debris, trash lying around, items that look out of place. You can also tell if an item has been there for quite a while. If say it was the can, it looked rusted, or dirt and things on top of it. So you're trying to find items that were most likely just put there.
And so tell me hypothetically, at times you sometimes collect things that are not associated with the crime.
Correct.
And at other times there's stuff that is definitely associated with the crime.
Correct.
Okay. I'll show you state exhibit number 85. You can tell me what that is.
That is a memory card.
And where did you obtain this memory card from?
That was given to me by an officer on scene.
Do you remember the officer's name by any chance?
That was Officer Halbert.
Thank you. And it's stated exhibit number 86. Can you tell us what that is?
That is E5, what I initially photographed, the sunglasses with the missing lens, and then an additional lens that was recovered in a final walkthrough of the scene at a different location. I believe it was under the vehicle.
Under the vehicle?
I don't want to misspeak. Yes, under the passenger side.
Thank you. Now, at this particular scene, you stated that you collected some items.
Yes.
I think you brought some items with you, is that correct?
Yes.
And let's start with this one.
All right, here we go. Let's see what they found.
I'm going to mark this state exhibit number 107. And if you don't mind, can you just observe that package and tell me if you recognize it?
Yes, I do.
And how do you recognize it?
It has markings that I placed on the package.
And this is markings that you put on that package?
Correct.
And what is contained within that package?
E1, the empty wallet.
The empty wallet. Judge, at this time, the state would ask to enter state exhibit number 107. Tentative defense for any objections?
No objections.
All right, state's exhibit 107 and its contents, state.
Thank you, Judge.
Are you entering 107 in the contents or just 107?
And contents, I apologize. Thank you, Judge.
And no objections, or do you have objections to this?
No objections, Your Honor.
All right, then 107 contents is accepted without objections.
Yeah, I always feel so weird when they open this evidence.
If you don't mind, can you just hold that up
stop
for the
touching.
jury to see? And this is the, oops, sort of falling apart.
The leather.
But this is the item that you collected that was E1
Correct.
at this scene?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. And then let's go ahead and mark this next package as 108. And can you please observe that and tell me if you know what is it located in that package?
The cross pendant.
And how do you know that that is in there?
The label.
And did you label it?
Correct.
And can you go ahead and open it? What's in there?
Yes.
Oh, gotta open that.
Yeah, I said the same thing. Put some gloves on, man.
Go ahead and open it. Pull it out.
Okay, and you put it back in there. And is this the, I guess what you could classify as a cross that you, or pendant that you found at the scene?
Correct.
Okay. Judge, the state offers 108 and its contents into evidence.
No objections.
All right, state's exhibit number 108 is admitted without objection.
Can you just take that out and just hold it up to the jury? And is this, that is the actual one that you found out, the lot, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Now, while you were at this scene, you stated that somebody else assisted you,
Correct.
and that was Raul Hurtado.
Yes.
Did you do anything else that, oh, well, you stated that you did some swabs. How many swabs did you do of that vehicle?
I did 6.
And is it your job to test them, or are you just collecting them?
No, I just collect.
Okay. And then also, did you try to find any latent prints on any objects at this scene? Or
At
from
the scene, no.
From the scene.
From the scene, correct.
Which items did you try to find Lady Grace?
From E2, the empty cigarette package, E3, the empty chocolate milk container, and E14, which was the empty beer can.
Were you able to develop any prints from those items?
I was not.
Thank you. Now, let's go to the 9th Street, I guess you call it the 9th Street secured facility.
Correct.
And at that location, you stated that you had actually finally gained access to this vehicle with a search warrant, and you collected items from this vehicle. Is that correct?
Correct.
And these items are listed in your report. Is that correct?
Correct.
And can you tell the jury, one, did you do any swab collection at this location?
Yes, as I had already taken swabs from the exterior of the vehicle, at this point I took swabs of the interior.
Okay. And I guess E1 through E5, are those swabs?
Yes.
And then what about other items that you collected from this vehicle, particularly going in, let's just go in order, E6, what is E6?
That was a live round.
And do you have the specification of what type of round that was?
Spear 380 auto.
And the location of that item?
In the interior front passenger side door panel.
And moving on to E7, what was that item and where was it located?
That was an unopened Lifestyles condom, and that was underneath the front passenger side seat.
Oh no!
And E8?
What were they doing in that
another
car?
swab from the interior of the vehicle.
And then E9?
E9 was a spin brush, toothbrush.
And E10?
An additional swab from the interior.
So I guess E10 through E15
Correct.
are the swabs from the interior?
Correct.
And then what about E16
E16 is an additional toothbrush.
and E17
17 was a red straw.
and E18?
That was an empty Smith & Wesson black magazine.
And where was it located?
That was in the top console tray of the vehicle.
E19
19 was an empty Taurus black magazine, and that was at the bottom console tray of the vehicle.
and E20
E20 is a blue iPhone, and that was in the glove box.
and E21
E21 was an empty Ruger black magazine in the glove box as well.
and E22.
An additional motorized toothbrush.
What were they doing in this car? Y'all said the lifestyles. Oh, here we go.
I'm going to show you what's been marked 88 through 103. If you
He
can
threw
just
the
take a
phone
look
out
at
of the
those
car.
items or photos and tell me if you recognize them.
Clearly, they were living in the car. Yeah.
Yes, I do.
And some of these photos have the items that you collected that day.
Correct.
And where were these photos taken?
At our 9th Street count.
And do they fairly and accurately represent what they purport to be the photos of this vehicle at that 9th Street location?
Correct.
Now, to be fair, you didn't take these photos?
I did not.
Who took the photos?
They were taken by CSI V Hurtado.
And were you present during the photo taking and collecting your evidence?
Correct.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would offer statement given number 88 to 103 and headed to the defense for any objections.
The number.
Y'all said it. I can't read some of these comments, but y'all are tripping. Leave the toothbrush out of it, okay? The toothbrush was an innocent bystander. Let's just, hey. Dang.
No objections, Your Honor.
All right, State's Exhibit numbers 88 through 103 are admitted without objection.
Judge, may I publish to the jury?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, sorry, no objection.
Shown, what's State Exhibit number 88. Sorry, Judge, I'm just trying to get a little less glare on there. Let me see. Sorry. That's better or worse? All right, we're just gonna go with it on that. State Exhibit number 88. Can you tell the jury what they're looking at here?
This is the vehicle, MV1, that I processed.
And that license plate, is that the same license plate that was at the scene in San Pedro?
Correct.
Thank you. And by just viewing the photo, you can see that it looks like it's some type of a garage. Is that secured facility?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm gonna show you what's been marked State Exhibit number 89. What is this a picture of?
The interior of the vehicle.
And I would ask,
Yeah.
what is this right here?
The center console.
So would this be the front seat of this vehicle?
Correct.
And so what seat would this be right here?
The driver's seat.
Okay, and this would be the passenger seat?
Correct.
Thank you. I'll show another picture, State Exhibit number 90. And Exhibit number 18, it looks like it's marked there. What is Exhibit number 18?
18 is the empty Smith & Wesson black magazine from the top console tray.
Okay. It's a little bit brighter picture. It's State Exhibit number 91. Is that same number E18?
Correct.
Now, I want to ask a question. These are magazines. What are these magazines for?
Firearm.
And some people don't know. You say firearm. What do you load into these magazines?
Live rounds.
And then what do you do with the magazine after you load it?
The magazine is put into the firearm.
Okay. And then that's how you function a firearm to actually shoot it.
Correct.
Were any of these magazines that you found in the car, were any of them loaded?
No.
Okay. State Exhibit number 92. What is this?
Interesting. I wonder why.
That is a second magazine. That's the Taurus magazine.
And again, is that center console?
Correct, the lower portion.
So you can open it up and it's inside of the console?
Correct. Once the top area was removed, you could see the second.
No. And so E18 was on top?
Correct.
And E19 was inside?
Correct.
Okay. E16? What is that?
That is a toothbrush. That was in the center storage compartment as well.
And so that center console area?
No, I'm sorry, I misspoke. That was the center storage compartment under the radio.
That poor toothbrush.
Okay,
So that was not the console with the cover. That was under the radio.
So like where you have the radio would be right below that?
Correct.
Not in between the seats?
Correct.
Okay. State Exhibit number 94. Can you tell the jury what you're looking at here?
That is a view of inside the glove box. It looks to be 20, which is the cell phone, and E21, which is an additional empty Ruger black magazine.
And that maybe a better shot of that is State Exhibit number 95. And that E20 is the blue cell phone, and E21 is the Ruger magazine.
Correct.
Thank you. And And State Exhibit number 96. What are we looking at here?
E7, an unopened lifestyles condom.
And where was that located at?
That was underneath the front passenger side seat.
Okay. And then we have
At
State
least it
Exhibit
was
number
unopened.
97. It looks a little blurry, but I think we can sort of make it out. What are you really focusing this photo on?
Shell casing. Looks like.
Is there an additional photo of that one with a number or?
Dang, she said, I don't know. What is this picture of again? I don't know. I have no idea. Dang, that's wild.
I mean, it appears to be a spent shell casing or a live round rather.
I can see
What,
that.
what did you collect from the car?
The
She did not just
because
say
that would
that.
be E6. That would be the Spear 380 live round.
Okay. State Exhibit number 98.
Oh, man. That's crazy.
What is the jury looking at here?
E9 is a toothbrush.
I'm sorry?
A toothbrush.
Okay. Well, I mean, let me ask this. What part of the car are we looking at?
The rear driver's side floorboard.
Okay. And there's other objects in there, is that correct?
Correct.
Now, I know that you marked E9, but there seems to be other objects down on the floorboard with these objects, or with E9.
Correct.
But you did not collect those items, did you?
No.
State Exhibit number 99. What does that appear to be there?
An additional view of the toothbrush.
And what seems to be next to it?
It looks to be toothpaste, possibly.
Okay, thank you. State Exhibit number 100.
There was toothpaste, guys. Y'all relax. He said,
Can you
what's
tell
this a
the
picture
jury
of?
what they're looking at
I
here?
don't know.
It's an overall view of the back seats of the vehicle to show as many items as possible in one view of the evidence.
State Exhibit number 101. What is that of?
That's of the interior trunk.
Interior of the trunk. And then State Exhibit number 102.
That's marking E22, a toothbrush.
And that is also State Exhibit number 103, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, I see that you brought some items that you collected at this scene with you. Just going to hand you that. I'm going to ask you to look at that and tell me.
Excuse me. The jurors will request a slight break, so if we could pause right now.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to give you a break, and I'll have you all back at 3:55. Is that enough time for everyone? All right, remember my previous instructions, all right?
All right, remember the judge's instructions. What do y'all think so far? They were living in that car. Nothing too crazy. We're going to skip ahead here to one of the last witnesses to come up from day 4, and then we'll get into finishing up day 5. All right, here we go. Shout out to Judge Boyd, though. Judge Boyd has done an amazing job in this trial, and we actually got to watch some of her other trials that she had on her docket as well. I mean, she's amazing. Here we go. That's crazy.
Could you raise your right hand?
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I swear.
All right, then you can lower your hand, state your name for record, and please spell your last name and keep your voice up so that the jurors can hear.
Jasmine
Speak
Rios
up.
Cruz. RIOSCRUZ.
All right, say, you may proceed.
Miss Cruz, how old are you currently?
I am 29.
And do you currently live
Oh,
in San Antonio,
Lord.
Texas?
I do.
How long have you lived in San Antonio, Texas?
She looks 45.
Approximately 20 years.
And where did you
Respectfully.
live before that?
Washington, D.C.
Okay. And did you attend high school in San Antonio, Texas?
I did.
What high school was that?
Winston Churchill High School.
Okay. And are you currently employed?
I'm a full-time student.
Okay.
Goodness.
Now I want to turn your attention back to April 23rd of
College will do that to
2017.
you, though.
Do you recall who you were with that day?
Yes, I was with my younger sister,
And what is her
I'm
name?
sorry.
Vanessa Rios Cruz.
And do you recall how old you were at the time?
I was in my early 20s, so.
Okay.
So like 5 years ago.
Shortly after that day, the 23rd of April 2017, do you recall making a written statement?
Yes, I don't remember the exact time after.
Oh, but you met with a detective, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and you provided a written statement?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to show you what's been marked.
We're gonna
for
find out who she is.
identification
I don't know who she is.
purposes. States Exhibit number 116. Can you take a look at that?
Okay,
And do you recognize that document?
I do.
And does that document contain your signature?
It does.
Okay, and you previously reviewed this statement before, correct?
Correct.
And is that a true and accurate copy of the statement that you provided?
Yes.
Okay. Would it help you to refresh your memory if you needed to at any point?
Yes.
Okay,
Y'all
and so
are
you're
funny,
able
man.
to refresh your memory, but please don't read from the document.
Okay.
And so you stated that you were in your early 20s on
Yes.
that day? All right. And do you recall what age your sister was?
We have we have like about a 9-year difference, 9 to 10 year difference. So she would have been
A preteen? Is that fair to
Preteen,
say?
yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, I think this lady's hot. Yeah, if you look at the way she's acting and moving her eyes, maybe she's just really nervous. But oh my god,
And do you recall what y'all were doing that day?
I'm gonna let her live.
yes, we were attempting to get a massage.
Okay. And where was the massage parlor located?
It was off of San
I can't
Pedro.
take this seriously.
And when you arrived to
Oh,
the massage
man.
parlor, were you able to find parking?
Not for the particular massage place. I was able to find parking at a restaurant adjacent to the massage place.
Okay. And these locations that we're talking about, are they located in Bexar County, Texas?
Yes.
Okay. And
Oh my god.
so you stated you parked in a restaurant parking lot, correct?
Yes.
All right. And do you recall what kind of car you were driving?
Yes, 2015 Toyota Corolla.
All right. And did that car belong to you at the time?
Yes,
Okay. And who was driving the car that day?
I was driving.
All right. And when you parked in the parking lot of the restaurant, did you, in the parking lot immediately to your, or excuse me, the parking space immediately to the right of you, was it occupied or not?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to leading.
All right, that vote is the same.
Okay.
Move to instruct the jury to disregard the question.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you disregard the question, the last question and answer.
I love when
Alright.
they say
Where did you
disregard.
park
It's my
in
favorite
the
court
parking
word.
lot?
The restaurant has a drive-through, and I parked behind the drive-through, so I would say it's behind the restaurant.
All right. Was there anything next to your car when you parked?
I believe there was 1 or 2 cars also alongside, but not directly beside my car.
Okay. And so, when you parked, then what did you do? Did you get off of your car? What did you do?
Yes, we went to look for the massage offices. It's like a duplex of some sort, so we had to find, we walked across some grass to find the massage place.
Okay. And were you able to get a massage at that time?
No, we were instructed to come back.
Okay. And so what did you do after leaving the massage parlor?
We started heading back to the vehicle.
Okay. And did you notice anything when you were walking back to your vehicle?
Yes, I noticed a car had parked itself next to our vehicle, my vehicle, that my sister was in with me, and they, kind of like a group of people or a boy, 2 boys started approaching us from that vehicle.
Somebody help her.
Just regarding the vehicle that parked next to your vehicle, was there anything significant that stood out about the vehicle to you?
Yes, the first thing that stood out was the boys, and once I approached closer to the vehicle, I noticed there was a busted windshield.
Okay.
Oh my
And so I want
god.
to talk to you about the first boy. Do you remember the first boy?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to show you what's been entered into evidence already, and that is as State's Exhibit number 64. Okay. And just give me a second.
A full-time student, she might be trying to stay awake. It's tough out there. I don't miss those days. Hey, y'all be nice, all right? Y'all got me up here cutting up. Oh man, I can't do this. We gotta skip ahead.
There's kind of a glare.
Oh, here we go.
Exhibit number 64 for the record.
There's kind of a glare. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Do you need to step down, or are you able to see?
Oh, this is perfect right here.
Okay. All right, I'm just going to pause the state's exhibit really quickly. Do you observe your motor vehicle on the exhibit displayed on the screen?
Yes, it'll be the furthest to the left.
Okay, is right where my mouse is hovering?
Correct.
Okay. And do you observe, or did you observe on that day a male at the location when you were walking back to your car?
Objection leading.
That would be sustained.
Did you observe?
Jury disregard the question.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, disregard that last question.
Did you observe anyone when you were walking
No,
back
that's
to
you,
your car?
Valencia.
I did.
Y'all got me over here cutting up.
Boy in the white.
Where my mouse is hovering?
Correct.
Okay. And did that person catch your attention?
Yes, he was walking towards me and my sister.
Okay. Were you able to see where he exited the motor vehicle from?
Yes, the front passenger.
Okay, and what color of a t-shirt was he wearing?
White.
Okay. And as far as his appearance...
Man, put the camera back on her.
What did his appearance look like?
He looked like a very young boy.
There we go.
Fair, dark skin, or light
Brown.
dark skin.
Okay,
Don't
what
say it was
his
brown
race?
like the other lady.
Black.
Okay. And can you describe like his build?
He just looked like a young boy.
Okay.
Just really skinny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did he say anything to you?
Yes. Yes.
What did he tell you?
Objection to hearsay.
Don't do that alone, Will. Come on,
Statement
man.
of interest, statements of party opponent.
He said y'all mad because she can see the future. Oh my goodness. That's crazy.
Okay, so regarding the other male that came to your attention, where did you state that you saw him exit the motor vehicle?
I stated that he had came out from the back.
I'm going to object. The witness looked at the report. What the prosecutor did not do as the court requested and asked that predicate.
No. Here's the thing. When you all approach, we have conversations here at the bench, and there's a reason why we have conversations at the bench and not in public. So, with regards to your objection, what is your legal objection, counsel?
Lack of foundation.
All right, with regards to lack of foundation, that's going to be overruled. Is there another objection?
Hearsay, asked and answered.
Overruled. All right, you may proceed.
He tried it.
Where did the second male that gained your attention, if you recall, where did you see him exit the motor vehicle?
From the back side of the right side of the vehicle, behind the passenger.
Okay. And did you see anyone in the driver's seat of the vehicle?
I did.
What did that person look like?
She was a light-skinned black woman who looked relatively the same age, with a blonde wig on.
Okay.
There's where the blonde comes from.
Can you describe the demeanor of the three people that you observed at the location on that day?
Yes, so the first one in the white shirt who approached me, he asked me for a ride, and then the darker, taller one, he didn't say anything, just appeared he was kind of moving, or just waiting to see what I was going to respond. And then the driver, which was the young lady that I just described, she looked in shock. She looked like she was saying something to herself and just shocked. That's the best way I can describe her.
Okay. Did you give them a ride on that day?
No, I did not.
All right. And did you make contact with members of the San Antonio Police Department later on to let them know what occurred on that date, April 23rd of 2017?
I did.
All right. We pass the witness, Your Honor.
Defense.
Very briefly, Your Honor. Were you contacted by the police or did you call the police?
I was contacted by the police.
Okay, you didn't call 911 at the time that you saw this, right?
I did not.
Okay, pass the witness.
Are there any further questions?
No, Your Honor.
Is this witness excused or subject for recall?
Excuse by the state.
Excuse by the defense.
Thank you. All right, the rule has been invoked. You're not allowed to discuss your testimony with anyone during the pendency of this trial, and you can remove the microphone and you're excused.
Thank you.
All right, that's it. Shout out to that witness. I mean, I thought she did a pretty good job of testifying. It was just a little weird, so I don't know. Y'all have to let me know what you think in the comments and in the chat. Let's go ahead and get into day 5. Oh man, a lot of people have been talking about this testimony from day 5, so we're going to hear from a very interesting character in this entire TAY trial. So let's go ahead and get into it. If y'all haven't seen it yet, here we go. I'm sorry.
And Jeff, I'm going to start inputting this in the system, so once I finish, I'll just pick it up here. All right, thank you.
I shouldn't make fun. That's not nice.
Oh, we need a seat? Yes. Is there an extra chair for the attorney?
There's some in that back room.
You want to just put this like I have here? That's only for the court report.
All right.
And just make sure you're speaking to this mic.
Counsel, you're okay with the rolling chair?
Of course. I can grab one from the witness room.
Oh, here's one here. Oh. Okay. Thank you, Nora.
Oh man, she does not want to be. We can already see how this is gonna go. Lord.
Oh, we have one. Thank you.
This girl's nervous. She's crying already? Dang, lady. She about to cry and throw up? Oh God, I hope not.
Just give me a moment. So just so everyone is aware, yes.
Sorry.
When there are cases where I'm assuming, what is your name?
Joanna Reyes.
All right. So I usually let the jurors know that the person sitting next to them is their attorney. All right. All right. And both parties are ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Let's bring the jurors in.
All right, for the jury.
All right, here we go. Now let's figure out who this lady is. Why is she so
All right,
upset?
state, call your next witness.
The state calls Joanna Reyes.
All right, can you raise your right hand for me, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand. State your name for the record and spell your last name, please.
Joanna Reyes, Reyes.
All right, state you may proceed.
Joanna, will you please introduce yourself to the jury?
My name is Joanna Reyes. I am a hairstylist and I also work at a warehouse.
And how old are you currently?
27.
And what city do you currently live in?
San Antonio, Texas.
And I'm sorry, Your Honor, is there any way we could raise the microphone's volume on the witness?
Just one. Can you make sure that you keep your voice up so members of the jury can hear, so that everyone can hear? And if you'll speak into the long microphone that's there?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. What city do you currently live in?
San Antonio, Texas.
And about how long have you lived in San Antonio, Texas?
Since 2005.
Okay. Were you born? Where were you born?
Libertyville, Illinois.
Okay. And about how old were you when you moved down to San Antonio?
10.
What side of town did you grow up on?
Marbach area, 410.
And did you attend high school here in San Antonio?
Yes, ma'am.
What high school is that?
John Paul Stevens High School.
Having a panic attack.
And did you graduate from that high school?
Yes, ma'am.
Did Did you graduate from that high school, or did you obtain your
She looks like she's about to pass out.
I did homeschooling.
Okay. And is that how you were able to obtain your high school diploma?
Yes, ma'am.
Shout out to all
Do you
the
know why you're
homeschoolers
here
out there.
today?
Yes, ma'am.
Why is that?
For the case to get justice for Mark Anthony Salvador.
Have you taken responsibility for your actions on the day?
Let me hear the question and then I'll rule in your objection.
Have you taken responsibility for your actions on the day that Mark Salvador died?
The objection will be overruled.
You can answer the question.
Yes, ma'am.
And how did you do that?
I pled guilty to tampering with evidence.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
So you entered a plea agreement with the state of Texas?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now regarding that plea agreement, originally you were charged with capital murder, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you worked out a deal where you ultimately pled to the offense of tampering with evidence, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And for tampering with evidence, the range of punishment is 2 to 10 years in the prison or community supervision.
I'm going to object to leading.
Sustained.
And I asked the jury to disregard the question and the answer, and the court would entertain it. All the questions and answers between my first objection and now.
No, I will not entertain objections that I've already ruled on. Ladies and gentlemen, the last question and the last answer you are to disregard. Does everyone understand? All right, State, you may continue.
Thank you.
She
So
doesn't
I'm
wanna
showing
go
you
back
what's
to
been
jail.
marked for identification purposes as State's Exhibit number 117. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, ma'am.
And does this document contain your name? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And does this document also contain your signature?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And on this document, is it a fair copy or a true copy of your plea agreement that you entered?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you can use this to refresh your memory if you need to. Just don't read from it. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Your Honor, given that it's a certified copy of a judicial document, the defense would move to admit that exhibit.
Well, if you want to admit that exhibit, you need to do it during your cross-examination of the witness.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Well, Judge, since they're not going to object at this time, the state offers State's Exhibit number 117.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, State's Exhibit number 117
why
is
she's so
admitted
upset.
without objection.
All right. I'm going to take it back and
May I have permission to publish it?
Granted. And I'm sorry, I don't know if the screen is working or not.
Oh, good. All right. So, Ms.
Oh,
Reyes, I
dang.
think where we left off was what was the range of punishment for the offense of tampering with evidence. Are you able to see the document up there on the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you know what the range of punishment is for that offense?
Yes, 2 to 10 years, possible fine up to $10,000 if the offense occurred on or after September 1st.
Dang. And do you know what, well, I guess, and as part of your agreement, what was the punishment that was agreed upon that you were to be sentenced to?
Tampering with evidence, intent to impair.
Okay.
Come on,
And
man.
just regarding 1 and 3, do you know what the state's recommendation for your punishment would be?
Yes, ma'am. 10 years deferred adjudication on the offense of tampering with evidence.
Okay. And then regarding line 4, what did the state ultimately do with the pending capital murder charge?
The state will dismiss the pending capital murder charge against your client at the time of.
Okay. And did you have other cases pending at the time that were dismissed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
What?
And this plea agreement was made to you in exchange for what?
Truthful testimony.
Wow.
And so have you been on bond, or let me step back a little bit.
No wonder,
Do you know
yeah.
what day you entered this plea agreement? with
She's
the state?
snitching.
December 18th, 2018.
Okay. And have you been on bond in your case since that date?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know what the conditions of your bond are?
Yes, ma'am.
What is that?
No contact with any of the defendants or the family of Marquette Salvador.
Now I want to talk to you about the month of April of 2017. Do you recall who you were hanging out with during that month?
Yes, ma'am. Tamor, Jalen, Isaac, Jeremiah, Desiree.
Okay. Tamor, what is his last name?
McIntyre.
And what is Jalen's last name?
Bell.
So they got her on
Do you know
something
Isaac's
else.
last name?
Ibarra.
And do you know Jeremiah's last name?
Rodriguez.
Dang, this is crazy.
Now,
She's a
specifically
snitch,
regarding
snitch.
Tamor McIntyre and Jalen Bell, do you recall where you met them?
At a gathering at Isaac's house.
Okay. Had you met him before that day?
No.
You had never met him before that day?
You said Jeremiah?
No, sorry. Let me clarify.
I'm sorry.
So regarding Tamor McIntyre, you previously stated you met him at a gathering at Isaac's, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, had you met Tamor McIntyre before that day?
Yes.
Okay. Do you know about how far ahead?
I'm not too sure on the timeline, but I believe it was a year or a year and a half prior.
Okay. And how old were you in 2017?
18.
Did you know how old Tamor McIntyre was at that time?
No, he just said that he was 18.
Were you in a relationship with Tamor McIntyre?
So he says.
And how would you refer to you as?
His girlfriend.
During this time period, were you all staying together for living purposes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
How old is this
Where
lady?
would you guys sleep?
Multiple people's houses.
Okay. Can you name some of the people's houses that you would stay at?
But it was Isaac. We stayed at Jeremiah's. He had a friend in Colleen named.
Well, Judge, it's laying the predicate for testimony to come, but I'll move on.
Can we approach her on?
Yes.
Oh, God. She was 27 at the time, or she's 27 now? I mean, either way. Wow. Ugh. Oh, God.
Thank you. Now, regarding Jeremiah Rodriguez, how did you know Jeremiah?
We had went to the same school, Stevens.
Okay. And so, for about how long did you know him before May of 2017?
Not too long, maybe a couple years. I knew of him. I never really hung out with him.
Okay. And in April of 2017, did Jeremiah Rodriguez have a girlfriend?
Yes.
Do you know what her name was?
Desiree.
Okay. During this time in April of 2017, what were you doing for work?
I was a entertainer.
And when you say entertainer, can you kind of further explain?
I did work at the strip club from ages 18 until probably 20, 23.
She was working at that strip club before 18. Man.
Now I want to talk to you about Mark Saldivar. Did you know him?
No, I just knew him on Instagram.
Okay. Based on your knowledge of him on Instagram, do
No
you know
wonder she was crying.
what his hobby was or what he liked to do?
Photography.
Okay. At some point in April 2017, did you come into contact with Mark Saldivar?
Yes.
Do you recall how you did that?
Through Messenger.
Okay. Is that on Instagram?
Yes, ma'am.
For what purpose did you come into communication with him?
Tamor wanted to make an album cover for his new song.
Okay. And so, specifically, why did you reach out to Mark Saldivar?
For that photo shoot.
Okay. And you said new song. What was Tamor's name that he would release songs under?
TAY 47 or TAY.
Okay.
It's crazy.
And regarding Jalen Bell, did he have any nicknames that he would go by?
Pimpies or Pimp.
Okay. Now, why was Mark Saldivar picked as the person to do the photo shoot?
Because he was offering to do it at low cost or no cost at all.
Okay. And were you supposed to be part of this photo shoot?
Yes.
Do you know what the plans regarding you were for the photo shoot? What were you supposed to be doing?
I was supposed to be in lingerie and with props of guns and marijuana and with a mask also.
Okay. And making the plans for the photo shoot, who was communicating with Mark?
That's wild.
It was
man.
me and Tamor.
Okay, and when Tamor was communicating with him, whose phone was he using?
She had to testify.
Mine.
She didn't have a choice.
So at some point, did Mark Saldivar agree to be the photographer for this photo shoot?
Yes, he did.
Okay. And so on April 23rd of 2017,
Oh, this
do you
testimony is
recall where
crazy.
you started the day off?
At Jeremiah's.
Is that Jeremiah Rodriguez?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What kind of car did you have at that time?
A black Kia Forte.
Okay.
So they were in
who was
her
that car
car.
registered to at the time?
My father.
But who was the one that was driving it?
I was driving.
All right. Do you recall how your hair was on that day?
I was wearing a blonde wig.
There
And
she
what did you
is.
have planned to do that day?
Just a photo shoot.
And who were you with for the photo shoot?
TAY and Jalen and Jeremiah.
All right. Did you guys go anywhere all together?
Yes.
Where?
To Mark's house.
And what vehicle did you all use to go to Mark's house?
My vehicle.
Okay. And who was the driver? Or when you guys got into your vehicle at Jeremiah's house, who was in the driver's seat?
I was.
And who was in the front passenger seat?
Tamor.
Who was sitting in the back directly behind you?
Jeremiah.
And who was sitting in the back directly behind Tamor?
Jalen.
Snitching. Oh,
Do you
man.
recall what color shirt Tamor was wearing?
White.
And just, can you explain Tamor McIntyre's appearance? As far as his skin color, how would you describe him? Do you know what his race is?
Yes.
What is that?
African American.
Would you describe him as a light or dark-skinned African American?
Dark skin.
Okay. And regarding his height, is he tall or short?
At the time, he was my height.
Okay. And was regarding his build, was he skinny or chunky?
Skinny.
Now, regarding Jalen's appearance, or do you know Jalen's race?
No.
Regarding his skin color, how would you describe his skin color?
Light complected.
Okay. And regarding his height, is he tall or
light-skinned.
short?
Tall.
And was he skinny or chunky?
Chunky.
And regarding Jeremiah, do you know what his race is?
Hispanic.
Okay. And was he short or tall?
Tall.
And skinny or chunky?
Skinny.
Okay. And did he have short or longer hair?
Longer.
Now, you stated previously that you all went to go pick Mark Saldivar up. Do you recall where you all picked him up at?
His house.
Did you pick him up directly in front of his house or down the street from his house?
Possibly diagonal.
Okay, so not directly in front of his house?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you know if Mark Saldivar had anything with him when he got into your vehicle?
She said he's light skinned.
You can answer the question.
He had a bag with him.
Okay. Do you know what was in the bag?
No.
Okay. Did he have anything else with him?
His camera.
Okay.
Objection waiting.
Do you know what kind of camera it was?
It was a white Canon.
Now, once Mark Saldivar entered your motor vehicle, who was sitting in the driver's seat at that time?
I was.
Who was sitting in the front passenger seat at that time?
Tamor.
Who was sitting directly behind you at that time?
Jeremiah.
And who was sitting in the middle of the back seat?
Jalen.
And who was sitting directly behind Tamor?
Mark.
Mark was sitting directly behind Tamor?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And so after you picked up Mark Saldivar, where did you guys go?
He asked us if we could reschedule for the day and if we can give him a ride to North Star. So I agreed and I said, okay, that's fine.
Okay. And so you were still going to give him a ride to North Star Mall?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Wow, this
And
testimony
so,
is crazy.
On the way to North Star Mall,
Dang.
what happened?
We hit the light at McCullough, and Tamor took out his gun and pointed it at Mark and asked for his bag. Mark refused to give him the bag, so they all started hitting him, and Tamor was hitting him with the gun. And the whole time I didn't look back, but when I did, I saw his face. And I started telling them to let him go. And I just kept screaming, let him go. And Jalen opened the door and started pushing him out. And he was fighting to get back in the car.
Dang.
And then they didn't let him in the car. So he went around the car and he jumped on the hood. And then the light turned green.
Okay. I'm going to stop you right there, okay? Okay. So, when you all were at the light on McCullough, you said Tamor produced his gun, correct?
Yes.
And who did Tamor have the gun pointed at?
Mark.
And what was Tamor saying when he had the gun pointed at Mark?
To give him his bag.
And so, once the light turned green, what happened?
He pointed the gun at me and told me to start driving. So I started driving. I didn't know where to go, so I turned into the first place that I saw, which was the Chick-fil-A. Once I turned into the Chick-fil-A, he kept yelling at me to get him off the car. I didn't know how to, so I was just going back and forth really quickly. And then Mark kicked the windshield, and TAY opened the door and shot him.
Okay.
Dang, that's tough.
All right. So when you were in the Chick-fil-A parking lot and Mark was on the hood of the vehicle, who was sitting in the front passenger seat of the vehicle at that time?
Tamor.
What did you observe Tamor McIntyre do from the front passenger seat?
He shot him.
Dang.
How did Tamor?
He's cooked.
Did he exit the vehicle, or did he roll the window down? How did he shoot?
Yeah, he opened the door and leaned out on one leg.
Now, do you see the person that shot Mark Anthony Saldivar in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Would you please point to him and identify him by the article of clothing he's wearing?
That's a nice suit.
He's
I
wearing
like
a
that
white
suit.
shirt.
Thank you. Let the record reflect that this witness has identified the defendant, Tamor McIntyre. Now, I need to back up a little bit, and I apologize. When you all were out, where did Mark's backpack end up?
Jalen had it.
Well, I'm gonna back up a little bit back to the stoplight on McCullough, okay? Did Tamor ever gain Mark's backpack at any point?
Yes.
Okay, and when was that?
And when they were fighting him.
Okay. And regarding where was the backpack once you all were in Chick-fil-A? Do you know where it was, or you didn't see it at that time?
I didn't see it.
Okay. Now, when you all were at that stoplight at McCullough and 410, prior to that, did you have any knowledge of Tamor's intentions to take Mark's belongings at gunpoint?
No, ma'am.
Okay, but then what did you observe occur?
He was robbing him.
And that's at the stoplight?
Yes.
Oh, they cook.
When you all...
Dang.
Well, I'm going to publish State's Exhibit. State's Exhibit number 63. that a fair and accurate representation of the events as they occurred on the offense date?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Permission to approach the witness, Your Honor. Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to show you what has been marked as State's Exhibits numbers 119 and State's Exhibits number 120. Have you seen these before?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you recognize the items that are contained within State's Exhibits 119 and 120?
Yes, ma'am.
And are they fair and accurate depiction of the items as they were on the offense date?
Yes, ma'am.
And tendering to defense for inspection and offering States 119 and 20.
Objection 403 and renewing our previous objection 702 and 3914 to the state's presentation of what is it, 64 video.
Oh, we gotta see. This one's exhibit. Do they have parties approach?
Dang, this testimony's tough. Do y'all think this is the nail in the coffin for TAY? Jeez. I mean, she was there. She saw it all. My Lord.
Permission to publish, Your Honor.
Right.
Now, regarding State's Exhibit number 119, are you able to see that if they're Ms. Reyes?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and can you please explain to the jury what I'm pointing at right here?
That's me.
And is that your motor vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
And what seat are you seated in?
The driver's seat.
And regarding State's 120, I'm going to approach you. So you can't see.
Regarding State's Exhibit number 120,
Y'all are saying
can you
he's
explain to
done
me what's
after
going on
this.
with the back passenger window right there?
Jeremiah has it rolled down.
Okay.
Now, after the defendant shot Mark Saldivar in the Chick-fil-A parking lot, where did you go? What happened?
He wanted me to keep driving because he didn't want the cops to get there. So he had directed me through the window to drive, and I went down the access road and took the first left and stopped at a Mexican restaurant.
Okay. I'm going to back up a little bit before we get to the Mexican restaurant. Was Mark Saldivar ever shot inside of your black Kia Forte?
No, ma'am.
At any point, did you see Mark Saldivar with a weapon on him?
No, ma'am.
To your knowledge, did anyone else in the vehicle have a firearm?
Jalen.
But who is the only person that you saw with a firearm in the motor vehicle?
Tamor.
And so when you get to the Mexican restaurant, what happens?
I parked the vehicle, and then they started getting out of the vehicle, and then I got out of the vehicle, and they were going through the backpack, and then also going through his wallet, throwing things out.
Okay, I want to back up a little bit. Do you recall who got out of the vehicle first?
Tamor? Or no, Jeremiah.
Okay, and then after Jeremiah got out do you know where Jeremiah went once he got out of your vehicle?
No.
Okay. Did he ever come back and meet with you there at the Mexican restaurant?
No.
Okay. And then who got out of the vehicle after Jeremiah did?
Tamor.
Okay. And so you said, do you know where Mark Saldivar's backpack was at this time?
Jalen had it.
Okay. And regarding Mark Saldivar's belongings, who did you observe with Mark Saldivar's wallet?
Jalen.
Okay. Do you know if there was anything inside of the wallet?
He had got upset because there was only $10.
When you say he got upset, who are you referring to? He?
Jalen.
Can you please describe to the jury the demeanor of Tamor McIntyre and Jalen Bell at the Mexican restaurant once you all got off the vehicle?
They were kind of going back and forth, and then Jalen applauded him and gave him a high five, and they high-fived each other, and Jalen said he caught your first body.
Can you describe to the jury how you were feeling when you all were at the Mexican restaurant?
In shock.
Did you ever see what was inside Mark Saldivar's backpack?
No.
Did the defendant, Tamor McIntyre, ever make a statement to you about what was contained within the backpack?
Yes.
What was it?
He said there was a roll of condoms, a bottle of lube, and a whole nother outfit.
Oh, Lord. What's going on there?
Did the defendant ever make any statements about Mark Saldivar's cell phone? Or did anyone make a statement about Mark Saldivar's cell phone?
Jalen.
Do you know what he did with the cell phone?
He said he tossed it.
Objection, hearsay, confrontation.
Judge, it's a for deponent, a statement by co-conspirator and further.
Mr. Bell is not a party opponent.
The objection will be sustained.
Would you instruct the jury to disregard the question and whatever party answer got out?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you'll disregard that.
This
last
is a tough
question
witness,
and
man.
last answer.
This is a tough witness.
Denied.
All right, Ms. Reyes, now I'm going to show you some photographs. Starting with State's Exhibit number 88. Do you recognize what that is?
Yes. That's my car.
Continuing with State's Exhibit number 89. Is there anything significant contained within this exhibit?
The picture, me and Tamor.
All right, so this item that I'm pointing at, what is that?
A picture of Tamor and me.
And showing State's Exhibit number 93. Do you recognize what that is?
My toothbrush.
State's Exhibit number 94. This item that I'm pointing at, who did that belong to?
Tamor.
And this item that I'm pointing at, who did that belong to?
Tamor.
State's Exhibit number 95, the item that I'm pointing to, who did that belong to?
Tamor.
Stuff.
State's Exhibit number 99. Do you know this item that I'm pointing at, do you know who it belonged to?
It was either Jalen's or Tamor's.
Oh man, she's getting the whole squad.
And regarding State's Exhibit number 102, the item that I'm pointing at, do you recall who that belonged to?
Either Jalen or Tamor.
Man. This testimony is crazy.
Okay.
I can't wait to hear what the defense has to say.
And regarding State's Exhibit number 115, do you know who that belonged to?
Tamor.
Now, after you all, well, I'm going to publish State's Exhibit number 63.
Oh, they're gonna attack her character like crazy.
So on State's Exhibit number 63, can you see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know who that is?
Jeremiah.
And on State's Exhibit number 63, as displayed where my mouse is toggling, do you know who that is?
Tamar.
And where my mouse is toggling on State's Exhibit number 63, do you recognize who that is?
Jalen.
And on State's Exhibit number 63, where my mouse is toggling, do you recognize who that is?
That's me.
Ms. Reyes, I'm going to show you what has been marked as State's Exhibits number 121 through 127, inclusive. Have you seen these before?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recognize the items that are contained within the State's Exhibit?
Yes, ma'am.
And are they a fair and accurate depiction of the items as they were left?
Yes, ma'am.
Tendering to defend for inspection, offered in States 121 through 127.
Let me approach briefly.
Yes.
Man, this is wild, man. Absolutely insane. We gotta skip ahead. I want to hear the rest of this.
You could take a look at State. All right, Ms. Reyes, if you could take a look at State's Exhibits 121, do you recognize this item that I'm pointing to?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what is this area?
The trunk of my car.
Okay, and the items that are contained within State's Exhibit number 121 are these items that were left in your motor vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you recognize them to be in the same condition as they were when they were left in the vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
State offers 121 through 127 inclusive.
Any objections, Your Honor?
All right, objections are noted, they'll be overruled. State's Exhibits 121 and 127 are admitted.
Permission to publish, Your Honor.
Granted.
Did you say and 127 or
No, 121 through 127.
All right. Now, Ms. Reyes, regarding State's Exhibits number 121, you just explained, can you explain to the jury what's depicted in this State's Exhibit?
My trunk of my car.
In State's Exhibit number 122, do you recognize what is contained in the State's Exhibit?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is that?
Tamar's jersey.
In State's Exhibit 123, do you recognize the item contained therein?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and this item that I'm pointing at, what is that and who did it belong to?
Tamar's pajama pants.
And regarding the item that I'm pointing to in State's Exhibit 123, do you recognize it?
Tamor and Jalen share the shirt.
Regarding State's Exhibit number 124, the item that I'm pointing at, do you recognize it and who did it belong to?
Tamor.
State's Exhibit 125, do you recognize that?
It's mine.
State's Exhibit 126, do you recognize that?
Yes, that's mine.
And State's Exhibit number 127.
Tamor's.
Now, after you all are at the Mexican restaurant, did you all go somewhere after that?
I don't know if Joe can say
Where
this
did you all
case.
And there's a Starbucks right next door.
Yeesh.
And we went there while Tamor was on my phone and he got a ride.
Okay. And where did you get a ride to, if you recall?
Jeremiah's house.
And when you all left the motor vehicle there at the Mexican restaurant, did you have any intention of returning back to the vehicle?
No, ma'am.
And you said that you all were going to Jeremiah's house, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that Jeremiah Rodriguez?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you all go to Jeremiah Rodriguez's house?
Yes, ma'am.
And did Jalen and Jeremiah stay, or did Jalen and Tamor stay there at Jeremiah's house?
Yes.
Okay. Where did Jalen and Tamor go from Jeremiah's house?
They got a lift.
Just one moment. When an objection is made, don't speak, because I'll need to rule on the objection.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, ask your question, and then you can make your objections, and the court will make a ruling.
Do you know if Tamor and Jalen went anywhere after being at Jeremiah's house?
Objection, yours.
That'll be overruled.
You may answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And just so the jury's aware, were you there at Jeremiah's house after you all left the Mexican restaurant? Who all was there at Jeremiah's house?
It was me, Jeremiah, his family, his mom, Tamor, and Jalen.
Okay. And so while you all are there at Jeremiah Rodriguez's home, where did Tamor and Jalen go from there?
They said they were getting a lift to Austin.
Objected, you're saying again.
Statement against interest.
So, with regards to hearsay, that's something someone else said, then the objection will be sustained.
Motion to instruct the jury to disregard the answer.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're instructed to disregard the answer.
Motion for instruct.
Denied.
Dang.
All right. Did you observe Tamor and Jalen leave Jeremiah Rodriguez's residence?
Yes.
And did they have any of Mark's belongings when they left?
Yes.
Do you recall what belongings of Mark's they still had?
The backpack and the camera.
Okay. Did you stay the night at Jeremiah's house, or where did you go after being at Jeremiah's?
No, I begged someone to take me home, which was his dad.
Okay. And did you have somewhere to be that next morning?
Yes.
Where was that?
Court.
Did you go to court the next morning?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so, the day after the offense, you were in a court with bailiffs. Did you speak out then?
No, I was too scared.
And after court, where did you go?
To Dallas.
When you arrived in Dallas, who were you staying with?
Kayla, Tamor's sister.
Do you know her last name?
Beverly.
Do you recall what apartments you were, or what type of location you were staying at with Kayla?
There were apartments.
Okay. And do you recall what they were called?
No, but I remember the address.
Okay, and what is that?
2424 Henderson Drive.
Okay. Is there anything significant about the
Yeah, he keeps
location
asking
that
for a
sticks out to
mistrial
you?
too.
In the area across the street, there was a plaza, which I remember there was a Kroger at and a beauty supply. And then next to it on the left side, there was a gas station.
Okay. Did the apartment that you were staying at, did it have a balcony?
Yes, ma'am.
And is there anything significant about the door on the balcony?
Yes, the color of it.
Do you remember what color it was?
It was like a red-orange.
Okay. Now, shortly thereafter, after the offense occurred, did you learn information that a detective with the San Antonio Police Department was trying to get into contact with you?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you do when you learned this?
His sister Kayla told me to lie to the detective and say that the car was stolen.
Objection, hearsay, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Move to instruct the jury to disregard the question and the answer.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are to disregard the question and answer.
And motion for mistrial.
Denied.
Okay. So without repeating what anyone told you, did you speak with the detective over the phone?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you tell the detective anything about your motor vehicle?
Yes, that it was
Objection,
stolen.
hearsay.
Call the roll.
You reported to the detective that it was stolen,
Yes, ma'am.
but that was not true, was it?
No, it was not.
Okay. Why did you tell the detective that?
Because I was told to do so.
Objection, hearsay.
Untimely.
Now, when you
Objection overruled, Your Honor.
Yes.
when you first spoke with the detective and told him that the car was stolen, did you make an appointment to speak with him in person?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever show up to that appointment?
No.
Why not?
Because the day before, they made me work at the club at Temptations, and that night, when I fell asleep, they stole everything out of my bag, my money, my ID, my social, everything.
And did you ever talk to the detective again?
Yes.
Did you tell the truth at that time?
No.
Why not?
I was scared
Why were you scared?
because I thought I was going to get hurt.
Why did you think you were going to get hurt?
Objection calls for hearsay.
All right, you're not allowed to say what anyone else told you. There are certain exceptions to hearsay. I don't know if this would fall under one.
Why were you scared that you were going to get hurt?
Because anytime I didn't listen to Kayla, she would call TAY on FaceTime.
I'm sorry. The objection to hearsay will be sustained.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd ask the jury to disregard the answer.
Ladies and gentlemen, you disregard the answer.
Motion for mistrial.
Denied.
Motion for mistrial.
Whenever you
He loves just throwing that in there.
You're stating that you were in fear, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you observe anything that placed you in fear?
Yes, he killed somebody.
And did the defendant ever make any statements to you about your family personally? And
Yes.
And what were those statements?
That he would kill me and my family.
And is that why you were also in fear?
Yes.
Now, do you recall about how long you stayed in Dallas?
I'm not too sure on the time frame.
At some point, did you leave Dallas, Texas?
Yes.
Where did you go from Dallas, Texas?
Odessa.
And when you were in Odessa, were you away from the defendant and his sister?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you choose to speak out then?
No.
Objection. No, I'll withdraw.
Why not?
I'm still so scared.
What was she scared of?
And then ultimately, when you were in Odessa, were you arrested for a
What a
warrant?
mess.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And once you were placed into custody, did you get a message to the detective that had reached out to you previously?
Yes.
And what were your intentions with the detective?
To tell the
Objection.
truth.
You can answer.
To tell the truth.
Okay. So did you wanted to speak with him? Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did you speak with him once you came back to Bexar County, Texas?
Yes.
And at the time that you spoke with him, did you have a plea agreement in place?
No, I did not.
And did you know that when you were speaking with him, there was a risk that you could be in trouble and charged in the offense?
No.
And you still decided to speak with him?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And, I mean, the detective did warn you that anything that you say or said at the time could have
Objection.
been used.
Hearsay, leading the jury.
Sustained.
Move to instruct the jury to disregard.
Gotta do better, man. He's also gonna say motion for mistrial.
Motion for mistrial.
What are you instructing the jury to disregard?
There you
Question.
go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're instructed to disregard the question.
Now, motion for mistrial also.
Denied.
Did the defendant ever reach out to you to try to get you to say something specific to the detective?
Yes.
And what was that?
They wanted me to say it was in self-defense.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay and relevance. We keep using plural. I don't know who's saying what, so I would object to hearsay. The confrontation.
Well, Judge, my question specifically was, did the defendant, so it's a statement against interest.
The answer is plural.
Yeah, Ms. Reyes, I'm showing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 128 and State's Exhibit number 129. Regarding State's Exhibit number 128, have you seen this before?
Yes.
And does it contain your name and signature on it?
Yes, ma'am.
And was this shown to you by the detective when you spoke with him in the Bexar County Jail?
Yes.
And regarding State's, and is it a fair and accurate depiction of what you saw back then?
Yes.
And regarding State's Exhibit 129, do you recognize what is contained within the photo?
Yes.
And is it a fair and accurate depiction of the people depicted in the photo?
Yes.
Tendering to defense for inspection and State's offering 128 and 128.
As to 129, Your Honor, we would just object as to relevance. And number 403. As to 128, Your Honor, I'd like to briefly take the witness on the record before I make my objection.
Motion for mistrial. Denied. This is a really good witness.
I wasn't sure if you wanted me, Your Honor.
Yeah, this is the key witness in my opinion.
Now,
What do y'all
regarding
think so
State's 129, do you recognize the people contained within the photo?
Yes, ma'am.
And the person that I'm pointing to, do you know who is that?
Kayla Beverly.
And who is that?
Taylor McIntyre.
And regarding Miss Beverly, is that the person that you previously testified that you were staying in Dallas with?
Yes.
And the state offers State's Exhibit 129.
All right, with regards to State's Exhibit number 129, defense's objections are overruled. State's Exhibit number 129 will be admitted. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a brief break, and I will have you all back here by 3 p.m. Remember my previous instructions, you're not allowed to discuss anything that you've heard in the courtroom. You're not allowed to do any investigation. You're not allowed to start deliberating with yourself or with each other. Does everyone understand? All right, everyone, please rise for the jurors.
Dang, all right, so that's it for the first part. We're gonna skip ahead through this break. Ooh, what do y'all think about this for TAY? It's not looking great. I mean, this lady was sitting right there. She saw the shot go through the windshield. I don't know what the defense does here, but we'll have to wait and see. Let me know what y'all think in the comments and in the chat real quick. Thank you to everybody who liked the video. Over 100% of y'all have liked so far. Oh my gosh. Y'all are doing amazing, man. Shout out to Lone Wolf. He said snitch alert. Yikes. Big shout out to my guy, Mr. Brown, dropping the 2-bomb. Just showing some love, man. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Hopefully you're resting up. Hopefully your appointment went well and you're recovering okay too. All right, so let's get back into this key witness testimony because she, man, she was up here cooking. It's crazy to hear firsthand what happened. Do y'all think TAY is going to take the stand? I can't imagine that he would in this instance. But maybe the defense makes that move just out of desperation. I don't know. It's crazy.
Hey, Ms. Reyes, how are you?
Okay, how are you?
All right,
well,
it's the
thank you.
defense's
Couple
turn.
questions about State's Exhibit 128. This was the photograph that was shown to you by the Detective Juarez, when you gave your interview in September of 2017, right?
Yes, sir.
And it was the only photograph shown to you of any of the people involved that day, correct?
No.
Okay. Were you shown others of people that might be Mr. McIntyre?
Oh, no, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. You were shown a photograph of Mr. Bell and of Jeremiah, correct?
Yes, sir.
But when you were asked about Mr. McIntyre, Detective Juarez just showed you this photograph and said, do you recognize this person?
Yes, sir.
Right? You weren't shown this photograph in a lineup with other photographs of other similar looking men, right?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, the photograph in question, you don't know when this picture was taken, do you?
No, sir.
Do you? And this isn't exactly the same haircut that Mr. McIntyre had on the day in question, is it?
Yes, it was.
Okay. His hair was this poofy on the day in question?
Yes.
Okay. Are you sure of that?
Yes.
Okay. 129 you were shown has been admitted, correct?
Counsel, this is in regards to a voir dire about State's Exhibit number 128.
Yes, sir. I'm trying to keep it limited to just that. That won't be very long.
All right, so if there is a cross-examination regarding how he looked in State's Exhibit 129 versus 128, that's for cross-examination, not necessarily for court hearing.
Well, I think it does briefly touch on its admissibility. I'll just have one question.
Okay.
Is it your belief that his hair is longer, shorter, or the same length in what's been admitted 129 as it is in 128?
You can't tell because his head stands out here to the side.
Okay. Do you know when 129 was taken?
No.
Okay.
Are they gonna try and say that TAY wasn't there? Ah, man, this is the defense questioning her. We'll see.
Those are all my questions, Your Honor. I would just object that, number one, it's just a show up of one photograph. It's not a full lineup. I think that's an improper identification question, but it may not be relevant because the witnesses identified Mr. McIntyre in other photographs. Secondly, as the court has pointed out, there's the concern about the fact that it appears to be a booking photograph, and that appearance in and of itself might be prejudicial to the jury, and that it's not just an ordinary photograph of him in daily life. And third, because the witness can't attest to whether when the photograph was taken, I think there are concerns about whether it might improperly bolster other aspects of the state's argument by leading the jury with the impression that this was the length of his hair on the day in question.
But didn't you testify that that was the length of his hair on the day in question?
Yes, I understand that's the witness's testimony, but those are my objections.
All right. Well, with regards to State's Exhibit number 128, State, I'm going to ask that the portion that states that that is from the San Antonio Police Department,
yes,
that portion be removed.
All right. If I could just...
You okay, Cindy? And then with regards to your saying that it was only one photo shown to her.
Yes, Your Honor. I mean, I think the court has fashioned a remedy that solves the other objections.
I'm sorry, are you withdrawing your objection?
Well, I am objecting to the exhibit as offered, but the court has suggested it would admit an exhibit if the San Antonio Police Department and the signature line of the witness identifying him on the specified date are removed.
No, that's not being removed. The only thing that would be removed would be the portion that says it's the San Antonio Police Department.
I see. Then yes, I would maintain my objection that it's a single photograph. The witness was not given the opportunity to identify Mr. McIntyre of a lineup of similar individuals. It was instead just shown a picture of the person that the officer had pre-printed and asked to sign an initial. And I think that kind of a lineup procedure is suggestive. It's a pre-indictment or pre-arrest Mr. McIntyre lineup, so there's no objection to the fact that there wasn't counsel present. But I think that the method of employment here has been discouraged as being overly suggestive because it doesn't give the witness any ability to discern.
But if somebody knows someone, do they need a lineup of several people if they've been in their life? For example, just hypothetically, if someone presents a photograph of someone's mother, do they need a lineup of people who look like their mother for them to identify a photograph as their mom?
Well, I would completely agree with Your Honor, which is the third part of the objection, which is that it's overly cumulative. We already have photographs of Mr. McIntyre in evidence, and she has personally identified him in the courtroom without any objection from the defense. So there's no need to have this photograph at all.
All right, the objection is going to be overruled. State's Exhibit number 128 will be admitted with the following redactions. The top portion that states San Antonio, I believe it states San Antonio Police Department, that needs to be removed. The emblem of a badge, that needs to be removed.
Yes.
And I believe that's in the top left corner. Yes.
Judge, if I may, I just was trying to find out exactly how the court would like us to do it. One, to expedite it, we could cut the top portion off, and that would, I mean, of course, I'd have to re-sticker the 128 if there's no opposition to that.
If you can just, if there's no objection, cut that portion off, and then just have another sticker labeled, and you can put the sticker at the bottom or wherever. So if y'all would do that.
Yeah, Judge, I have two more that I'd like to get into since we're outside the presence of the jury.
Let me see what two they are. All right, and with regards to this as well, the top portion, and if you want to show it to the defense.
And Your Honor, one other, as to 128, the only other objection to make would be hearsay as to the written portions beneath the photograph.
It looks like, it gives the impression of a mugshot with the signatures at the bottom. They don't add anything since she's identifying it as him.
Let me see the bottom of it, please.
the larger concern, Your Honor, is that obviously Mr. McIntyre has a prior arrest in Fort Worth for a homicide offense, which is a worry of 404B concern. The state has indicated that
This is what I'm telling everyone. This photograph is coming in. Now, here's my question. With regards to this writing on the bottom, where it says Tamar Trayvon McIntyre, who's written that?
May I see that?
If that's writing by someone other than this witness, then that needs to be removed as well.
If I may just, I believe it's her.
If you'll ask questions on the record.
Yes. Ms. Reyes, I'm showing you what has been marked as State's Exhibit number 128. This line that I'm pointing at where it says name of person identified, whose handwriting is that?
That's mine.
And where it says sworn to, whose handwriting is that?
I believe the detectives.
Okay. And the signature line, whose handwriting is that?
Mine.
And the date line, whose handwriting is that?
Mine.
Okay.
All right, so I'm sorry, which?
So she stated that this portion was by the detective, but everything else is by
His name, Your Honor.
No, the witness has stated that the name that is listed, that's written there, that's her writing.
Right, but that's poultry, and she's testified to it. We don't need to, that is still hearsay. It's a prior consistent statement. Nobody is contesting that she's identified it. There's no need for the additional hearsay. It just serves to bolster.
Judge, it's not to bolster, it is to prove identity that they've been contesting the entire trial. And so I believe that it's permissible for us to offer that into evidence to show that she is the witness that observed the photo and personally identified the defendant back on the date that she conducted the ID.
And she's done that before the jury. There's no reason to have the written bolstering, which is hearsay.
And we haven't, I mean, while questions of identity are contested, there has not been any contest that this man is named Tamar McIntyre. And it isn't disputed that these two people know each other.
And that she's testified.
So the question as to whether or not she can identify a photograph of Mr. McIntyre is not relevant to any of the things that are in dispute.
Judge, it's relevant because in their opening, they were contesting many aspects of the case, but however, one of the things that they heavily contested was that the case was very old. Mr. McIntyre does not appear in the same form as he did back in 2017. And so that is the purpose of it being offered for identity, that this is the same defendant that was in her car.
All right, with regards to State's Exhibit number 128, the defense's objection will be overruled. And then what are the other two exhibits?
They're of the same book.
And defense, it's State's Exhibit number 130 and 131.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, would you like to order the witness with regards to those?
Yes, just briefly, Your
Sure.
Honor. Ms. Reyes, you've been shown 130 and 131?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you've identified these photographs as one of Jalen Bell and one of Jeremiah Rodriguez, correct?
Correct.
And again, similar to what we talked about with 129, 128, I'm sorry. These are the only photographs of that you were shown when you asked for each of their identities, right?
Correct.
You were not shown a lineup for either of these people.
No.
Okay. And to be fair, you know Jalen Bell, you know him from prior interactions, but you've had fewer interactions with Mr. Bell than you have with Mr. McIntyre. Fair to
The
say?
same amount.
Same amount? Okay. And then Mr. Rodriguez, you said you were acquainted with him in high school, but that you all didn't hang out a great deal.
Correct.
Okay. Your Honor, my objections would again be these are suggestive. They're lineup photographs, and we would similarly object to hearsay and bolstering the way we did for.
All right, with regards to those two exhibits, and I'm sorry, what are the numbers?
130 and 131.
With regards to 130, 131, the objection will be overruled. All right, Deputy, you would have the jurors come in, please.
All right, we got that situation figured out. All right, give me 1 second, y'all. I'll be right back.
Yes.
All right, for the jury.
All right, everyone, please be seated. State and send your witness.
Now, Ms. Reyes, I'm showing you what has been marked as State's Exhibits 130 and 131. Do you recognize these documents?
Yes, ma'am.
And regarding both of the documents, is this your name?
Yes, ma'am.
And is it your handwriting?
Yes, ma'am.
And is this a fair and accurate depiction of what was shown to you by a detective with the San Antonio Police Department back on September 5th of 2017?
Yes, ma'am.
At this time, Your Honor, the state offers State's Exhibits 128, 130, and 131.
No objections, Your Honor.
All right, defense, your objections are noted. States Exhibit 128, 130, and 131 are admitted.
Permission to publish, Your Honor.
Granted.
Ms. Reyes, regarding State's Exhibit 128, can you explain to the jury what this is?
Tamar McIntyre.
And is
the
that
wanted poster?
appearance of Tamar McIntyre in State's Exhibit 128 how he looked back in 2017 when the offense occurred?
Yes.
Regarding State's Exhibit number 130, can you explain to the jury who that is?
Jalen Bell.
And regarding State's Exhibit 131, who is that?
Jeremiah Rodriguez.
Okay. Now, earlier in your testimony, you testified regarding fear that you were experiencing. Can you describe the relationship that you had with Tamar McIntyre to the jury?
It was a possession.
Check relevance, and if we just approach the bench.
All right, for the jury.
All right, everyone, please be seated. All right, so this is a hearing outside the presence of the jury. The defense states that they believe that the answer is going to elicit 404B information. So, first of all, state, if this is going to be 404B, has the defense been given notice?
Well, Judge, I mean, they were given notice of it in previous testimony that the transcript that was provided to them, that this testimony is contained therein.
Oh, please be seated.
And in her statement that she gave back in 2017.
They have not filed formal notice to answer the court's question, but I mean, certainly, parts of it are discussed in just vague terms in the transcript.
All right, so let's do this. Let me hear your questions. Let me hear her answers, and then I'll hear objections.
All right. Ms. Reyes, without going into specific instances, can you just briefly describe the dynamic of the relationship that you had with Tamar McIntyre?
He was possessive and abusive.
And when you say possessive, can you explain how so?
Anytime I would enter a room, if there was other men in the room, he made me sit on his lap. I had to wear his clothing down to his underwear.
And when you say abusive, can you further explain that? Well, I'll just move on from that. That's it, Judge.
All right. Do you have any questions in regards to that subject matter? And then I'll hear whatever objections you have.
Well, Your Honor, I mean, I guess that question and that answer would not actually be 404B because there's no elicitation of a specific instance of conduct. So it's just character evidence generally. But those traits of character are not relevant to the questions that the trier of fact have to answer, which is whether he intentionally and knowingly killed Mark Anthony Saldivar in furtherance of a burglary or of a robbery. And so I don't think that it's proper character evidence. I don't think that the predicate has been laid. I don't think it's relevant. And so I would like the court to exclude it on that basis. If the court disagrees, then I would like to engage in some questioning to try and determine whether or not, because the problem with the way that this is set up is the prosecutor's just asking generally, is Mr. McIntyre a possessive bad boyfriend? Is he aggressive with you? Does he put you in fear of your life because of the way that he acts around you when you see other men? And the only way for us to cross-examine or impeach that line of discussion is to go into specific instances of conduct. And so it's almost a bait and switch the way that that's being proposed, which is why, I really do believe that's just not admissible character evidence. It's not an impertinent trait of character for the offense, and there's been no foundation as to why it's relevant.
Let's start this first. Why is it relevant?
Judge, well, it goes to her credibility, and that was attacked by them in their opening statement. And so the reason that the state is offering it is to prove, well, not to prove her credibility, but to lend credence to her credibility and rebut their opening statement regarding their attack on her credibility.
That's just 404A1, prohibited use. That's explicitly what the rule is designed not to allow them to do.
Well, Judge, they argued in their opening that she was being paid off for this, and so I think this line of questioning and testimony goes to something that they're about to attack on their cross-examination as to why she didn't speak out in the months between the offense and when she gave her statement in September.
I don't think anything in our opening automatically would authorize them to violate 404A1.
So this is what the court is going to do. With regards to this line of testimony, for the moment, the court is going to sustain the defense's objection. And if the door is open to something else, then the court will hear it. So.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Thank you. All right, let's bring the jury in.
Bring the jury back
Well,
in.
I guess, Your Honor, just to avoid the three.
Here we go.
It's still your witness?
Now, Ms. Reyes, I'm showing you what has been marked as State's Exhibit number 118. I'm going to take it out of its envelope. Do you recognize this?
Yes, ma'am.
What is it? Well, have you listened to the contents of this disc?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and regarding the defendant, were you familiar with him back in 2017?
Correct.
And have you spoken with him on multiple occasions?
Yes.
Would that include in person and on the phone?
Yes.
And when you listened to the contents of State's Exhibit number 118, did you recognize the voice that was making the call on State's Exhibit number 118?
Yes.
And whose voice would that be?
Tay Morris.
All right. And you pass the witness here.
All right, defense, you may proceed.
Good afternoon, Ms. Reyes.
Hello.
So let's start off with your plea deal in this case. You pled to tampering with evidence, correct?
Correct.
That's a third-degree felony?
Yes, sir.
What is it that they said you tampered with?
Ooh, here
The
we go.
car.
The car?
Yes.
Okay. And in exchange for that, you got the capital murder charge pending against you dismissed, right?
Correct.
And you were allowed to remain out on bail this whole time, this past 7.5 years, right?
Correct.
And the agreement is that if you satisfy the terms of your deal, then you'll get what's called deferred adjudication, right?
Correct.
And you understand deferred adjudication means that you would not be finally convicted of that felony offense, tampering with evidence, right?
Correct.
Which means that if you successfully complete your deferred adjudication, you can petition a court to non-disclose the record, right?
Correct.
Meaning that other than police and perhaps the judge, the members of the general public that might want to employ you or give you an apartment or anything else would not necessarily know that you were ever convicted or never admitted guilt to deferred tampering with evidence, right?
Correct.
Okay. And the condition for you getting this deal was that you would testify truthfully against Mr. McIntyre, correct?
Correct.
And you understand when they say testify truthfully, that the person who decides whether you're being truthful is the district attorney's office, right?
Correct.
So if they think that you're not telling the truth, then they would be able to tell the judge that, and it could impact your case in a negative way. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you also understand that if you're placed on deferred adjudication, you're eligible for what's called early termination of that deferred adjudication, right?
Correct.
And early termination can be applied for the day that you were placed on deferred. You understand that, right?
Yes, sir.
So it means that if you testify to the prosecutor's satisfaction in this case, and you are sentenced to deferred adjudication, as you said in your agreement, you could apply for early termination that day. You understand that?
I'm going to object as to...
This is the problem with paying off a witness, right? You do all this, you get him to testify for an incentive, and then the defense comes in and say, so you're going to say whatever they want you to say, right? But still, I mean, is her testimony believable based off of the other witnesses we've heard? It's going to be tough.
On deferred. You understand that, right?
Yes, sir.
So it means that if you testify to the prosecutor's satisfaction in this case, and you are sentenced to deferred adjudication, as you said in your agreement, you could apply for early termination that day. You understand that?
I'm going to object as to relevance. It's a misstatement. He needs to read the agreement because that's not what's contained in therein.
Your Honor, it's plainly part and contemplated of what a deferred adjudication is, and she knows what early termination is.
But is it a part of the agreement? That's the state is saying that it's not a part of the agreement.
Doesn't the agreement say that there's no opposition to it? You have 116.
All right, let's see the agreement, because I doubt he's thinking of another client. This guy's pretty good at his job.
Okay, so let's call your attention. Can we? Is the Elmo working?
It's ready. It's ready.
She's seen it, so.
Yes, 9 and 10. Yes.
Here we go.
All right.
Oh, this is getting good.
On paragraph 9, it says the state will agree that at any time served on bond while awaiting sentencing, without violation of bond conditions, will count towards the deferred recommendation time, and the state will adjust the recommended time for deferred accordingly. For example, if your client, or you in this case, spends 2 years on bond from this date without violating the conditions, the state will recommend 8 years of deferred instead of 10 years at the time of sentencing. You read that part?
Correct.
And how long have you been on bond for this case?
Almost 8 years this month.
Almost 8 years this month. So the result of that is that if you have satisfied the state's expectation that you testified truthfully, at the conclusion of this, I guess you'll have to spend another year on deferred adjudication before you'd be eligible to request that you receive early termination. You understand that?
Correct.
I'm going to object to speculation and relevance.
Well, paragraph 10.
It's very relevant.
Well, Your Honor, I'm just asking her what her understanding of her own plea agreement is, which goes to her bias and motivation.
That's
which
fair,
is an admissible
fair
question.
What did they need to approach for? She signed it. This is what she agreed to. He's asking her what her motive was for testifying, especially since she waited to go to the police. This is good. I like this line of questioning from the defense.
That's right. So just to go back to paragraphs 9 and 10 of your
It's another Woody deal.
You understand you've been on bond for 8 years, right?
Correct.
And you understand that under this agreement, so long as you're testifying to the prosecutor's satisfaction, they're promising to give you a discount on the total 10-year period of deferred for each year you served on bond in their recommendation to the court for punishment, right?
For the truth, correct.
And that you must spend half of the total time on your deferred before you can apply for early termination, right?
Correct.
And that would only be a year, given that you've already spent 8 years on bond, assuming that the prosecutor does recommend that reduction and assuming the court accepts it, right?
Correct.
Okay. And you understand that there is no statute of limitations for capital murder, right?
Correct.
And so if you testified in a way that was not to the prosecutor's satisfaction, you understand that you could still be prosecuted for this capital murder offense, correct?
Correct.
Right. And you understand that 10 years is the maximum for the third-degree felony, correct?
Correct.
But it would be life in prison without the possibility of parole for you if you were to be charged with this capital murder offense, right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, when you first met with Detective Juarez, it was in September of 2017,
Hey, thank
is
you,
that
Dr.
right?
EJ.
Correct.
So about what, is that, I'm not good at math, like what, 6 months or so after the offense?
Correct.
Okay. And during that time period, you said that you went to Dallas, you were in Ector County, which is Odessa, for a little bit. That's where you got arrested?
Correct.
Okay. So you said that you met Tamor about a year and a half prior to this offense?
Correct.
And he was 15 years old at that time, wasn't he?
I didn't know his age at that time.
Well, I'm asking if you know that now.
Yes, no, I didn't.
He was 15
Yikes.
when you first met him.
Correct.
And he was 16 years old on the 23rd of April in 2017, right?
He lied at that time and said he was 18.
But you understand he was 16 years old, right?
No, I do, yes.
Okay.
We knew this was coming.
You met him at a gathering through Isaac, which was your boyfriend at the time?
Correct.
But then you started dating Tamor in the 2017 timeframe, correct?
Correct.
Dang.
And
oh, God.
you said that you were acquainted with Jeremiah Rodriguez because you went to high school with him?
Correct.
So you knew that Jeremiah Rodriguez was a drug dealer, right?
Correct.
And you knew that he often carried weapons, correct?
Correct.
Okay. You said at the time period you were dancing at a strip club?
Correct.
And the weekend of this incident, I believe, coincided with the Stoners Holiday 420. Is that right? April 20th?
Objection, relevance, and lack of personal knowledge.
If you know.
Relevance.
Well, I'm trying, the relevance is, I believe, what they were doing at that party as it relates to what happened later, and it relates to
All right, show me the time foundation with regards to time.
Was there a party the weekend of this incident that you attended with Mr. McIntyre and others?
That weekend, no.
Okay. But you and Mr. McIntyre and Mr. Bell were all hanging out?
We were together, yes.
Was Jeremiah with you?
Yes.
But you weren't staying at Jeremiah's house that night before this incident, were you?
Yes, we were.
Okay, are you sure of that?
Very sure.
Okay. If Jeremiah disagrees with you, Jeremiah is not telling the truth?
Correct.
Okay. And you all took drugs that night before, didn't you?
I didn't, they did.
Okay, well, you say you didn't. Let's be more specific. They took LSD, didn't they?
Yes.
And you didn't take LSD?
No.
You smoked marijuana, though, didn't you?
I was completely sober.
You didn't smoke marijuana or do cocaine?
No, not the day before.
Are you sure?
Yes.
But you had done them in recent time frame?
Previously, yes.
Okay. And so, Mr. McIntyre and Mr. Bell would have taken the LSD sometime in the evening hours of Saturday night before this event on Sunday, right?
Correct.
Okay. And do you have any experience with taking LSD?
Yes.
So you're aware it's a very long-lasting drug, right?
Correct.
So it may not be that they were acutely intoxicated, but there would still be effects 24 hours later.
Objection, speculation.
In your experience, you can still be having effects from it 24 hours after the fact, right?
Yes, but it didn't seem like that.
Okay, I'm not asking you what it seemed like, I'm just asking what your experience with that drug is.
Yes.
So, that night before, there had been a conversation about a photo shoot. Part of that was to promote your career as a dancer, wasn't it?
No.
Okay. You say it was because Mr. McIntyre was wanting an album cover?
Correct.
But you're aware that Mr. McIntyre has a producer and that he has people that do photo shoots for him and that all of those types of things?
Objection,
If you
relevance,
know.
and speculation.
The state has objected to relevance.
Well, it's relevant because I'm just asking her if she's aware. It goes to whether or not she understood the framing of this correctly.
All right, that objection will be sustained.
So, you contacted Mark through Instagram, right?
Correct.
And Mark had contacted you previously on a different Instagram account of yours, right?
Correct.
And had asked if he could take photographs of you, right?
Correct.
And the kinds of photographs Mark
Objection.
wanted to take to you, I'm sorry?
I'll let you finish the question.
The kinds of photographs Mark wanted to take of you were either nudes or risque photographs, wasn't it?
Judge, I'm going to object, and if we could approach, please.
Oh, man. Jeez, she is holding it together though. I see y'all giving her props in the chat, but oh boy, this is wild.
Ago, Mark had reached out to you on a prior occasion, and the discussion was about whether he could take nude photographs of you. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And when you looked at Mark's Instagram page, you saw that most of his photography work was of that variety, naked pictures.
Yes.
And because of those things, you had blocked Mark previously, right?
Yes.
And then you had activated a new Instagram account, and that's how Mark got a hold of you on this occasion, right?
I had that account for a while.
Okay, but he resurfaced as an Instagram correspondent.
Correct.
On a new account, right?
Correct.
And on this occasion, the discussion was displaying you in lingerie, correct?
Yes.
And so those were the circumstances that were going on during the evening hours of Saturday leading up into Sunday. We're making arrangements to have this photo shoot where you would be in lingerie, correct?
Correct.
All right. And you said, I believe on direct examination, that he had agreed to do this for little or no pay, right?
Correct.
And so you all were thinking about doing the shoot somewhere near the North Star Mall?
Correct.
Okay. And when you arrived, he walked out from his house and he got in the car and he saw that it was you, Jalen, Tamor, and Jeremiah, right?
Correct.
And that wasn't something you had explicitly discussed with him before. It was the fact that there'd be other men there, right?
He knew Tamar was going to be there.
You didn't know anybody else was going to be there, right?
We said multiple people.
Okay, when did you tell anybody that?
With good text.
Let me
And we
back up.
communicated with them.
Let me back up a moment. You have given statements to the police in conjunction with this case, right?
Correct.
Y'all are
You have
saying
given
she set
statements
him
under
up?
oath when you entered your plea guilty to the plea agreement, right?
Correct.
And you didn't tell anybody that you had explained to Mark that there would be a bunch of men present at the photo shoot, did you?
No.
Okay. So Mark gets in the car, and immediately, once y'all are rolling away, the photo shoot's called off, right?
He asked to reschedule for a later time that day.
Okay, that's calling off the photo shoot, isn't it?
It's rescheduling.
Okay, so y'all were still driving away with him, right?
Correct. He asked for a ride to North Star.
And you told the detective that you were confident Mark's intention was to have sex with you that day, right?
No.
You don't remember telling the detective that?
No.
Refresh your recollection to look at your statement to the detective?
We can.
Defense is breaking it down. Just trying to get that money. Dang.
Ma'am, which number are we on, defense exhibit?
Number 9, I think.
Number 9. All right, Ms. Reyes, I'm going to give you this transcript. I want you to kind of look it over. And if you have any questions that you would like to refresh your recollection from it, please let me know. And then I'll be asking you some questions from it too. We'll have a copy for both.
Judge, I'm going to object to that exhibit. It's not a witness exhibit.
I haven't offered it, and I'm just giving it to her because she said it might refresh your recollection, and if it doesn't, it doesn't.
She doesn't even know what it is. I don't even know what it is. I don't know who the
I was just
author
giving you a copy.
is.
I'm objecting to lack of foundation. It's not her own
I'm giving you a copy of it so you can tell me what it is. You mean it's not understand?
It's on court saying. Yeah, that's not report saying. I'm not offering. It's just content. It's just content.
All right. Ms. Reyes, if I...
So, a party's approach.
Dang, man. The defense knows they have to hit it on the head with this witness because, I mean, if they don't, this could look crazy to the jury. I think they're doing a good job so far, though.
All right, we're still on the record. Everyone, please be seated. So, with regards to the
Number 9.
transcript, the defense is saying it's a transcript of the witness's statement. State, have you had a chance to review that, or have you seen that before today?
No, Judge.
All right, so this is what the court wants the state to do, review that. And if someone can show her, defense, if you're saying this is a transcript of her actual video statement, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, so if someone has her video statement, if you all will please show her her video statement. And defense, whatever you want to cross, if it turns out it's for impeachment purposes, if you can do your time steps on her video to show that to her for any reason you believe it's impeachment evidence.
And Your Honor, may take specific to what this question and answer is about, I can call the witness's attention to the 50-minute 39, or I'm sorry, 50:39.
I want to see it.
All right, so here,
mark on the video.
here's the problem with that. If you all want to go to the video and specifically show her that portion, then if somebody will go to the video and show her that portion of the video.
I have that portion ready for the court, Your Honor, but I just wanted to, I mean, at this phase of it, All I have asked is if the witness recalls her previous statement, if it would help her remember to have a copy of her transcript in front of her.
But see, the problem is the transcript that you're saying that is her transcript, that's not an official transcript. My understanding, if I'm wrong, correct me, my understanding is that is someone that the defense, I guess, hired, or someone that the defense had to take her video statement that she gave to, authorities and have them watch that and do a transcript of it. Am I correct?
Well, yes, but the problem is, Judge, we're talking about two separate rules of evidence and application. Right now, at this moment in time, all we're dealing with is past recollection and refresh. And if I had a cardboard cutout of Mickey Mouse that would refresh her memory, then I could show her that. That's all I'm doing, whether it's an official
Well, let me ask you
transcript
this. So here's my question to you. Because that transcript is not an official transcript, so you're trying to refresh her memory. So let's assume it doesn't refresh her memory. Then what's going to be the next step?
I'm going to ask her if she said on a prior occasion, and I'm going to recite what I believe she said.
Right.
And if she says yes, then that ends the
Well,
discussion.
what if she says no?
Then we have the video clip to the
So why don't we just show her the video so we don't have to take the jury back and forth outside? So just show her the video.
May we confirm for
Yes.
a moment,
You want to choose up for every single
Judge Boyd is right. Hey, we skipping steps, man. Dang. Just go straight to the video.
Your Honor, I understand the court's ruling. We can take back the transcript, and she doesn't have to refer to it. She said she didn't say that on a prior occasion. We have the clip. We'd like that to just be played in front of the jury. We have a moment to just set up.
and she can watch it and say whether that refreshes her recollection. If it doesn't, then it renders that admissible. Now,
Yes. All right, show her the video.
we'll do that in front of the jury.
No, I mean, you have to show her her video.
Right.
Then you all ask her whatever questions you want to ask, and then you get to impeachment. Right now, you're saying you're trying to refresh her recollection. What I'm telling everyone is it's hard to refresh somebody's recollection with what the defense is saying is her transcript when it's not her transcript. Nobody knows who did the transcript. It's not an official transcript. Nobody even knows if that's the actual transcript of her video statement. And when I say that, let me just tell the defense, I am not saying that you are submitting something that is not word for word from her DVD statement, but what I'm just telling you all, that's not an official transcript. If it were an official transcript, then we will be in a different place. So this is what I'm telling everybody.
Judge Boyd's
show
on it.
her the video. Could somebody please show her the video? Then you all can ask whatever questions you want to ask.
Judge, just for order of operation's sake, I'm withdrawing the exhibit that I marked for identification to refresh the witness's memory. I would like to just proceed under Rule 613. I'd like to ask the witness again in front of the jury about the statement, and if the witness denies making the statement, then I believe I have the right to publish that video to the jury.
All right, show her the video. Let her see the video.
Well, Your Honor,
I have the right to do that to the
if
jury.
we're not trying to refresh her recollection, then what we're entitled to do is ask her again whether she made the statement. If she insists on saying she doesn't, then we don't have to show it to her now. What we do is we show it to her and the jury and ask her, does that change your mind?
That video is hearsay.
Well, that's not for impeachment purposes.
Well, you haven't got to the impeachment point. What I'm saying is...
No, we're withdrawing the refresh recollection.
Okay.
So now we're actually, if she wants to insist on that, that's fine. Then it's going to come in under 613. Otherwise, if she says, okay, I changed my mind after hearing all this, then we can move on.
This is what I'm telling you all, and I want everybody to hear me and internalize what I'm saying. Show her her video.
On this one.
Somebody put the video on. Show it to her.
Well, Your Honor, we don't have to.
If you're in a computer right now to do that.
We don't have to if we're not asking her to refresh her recollection. She said she didn't say it before. We're withdrawing that request. And now what we're saying is, are you certain of that? If she says under oath that she's certain of that, then we're going to show her at that point, before the jury, what her prior statement is. That's
The defense doesn't want something in the video to be played. I mean, obviously. If that weren't the case, they wouldn't be pushing back that much on this. They say, yeah, let's play the video. It's great. So obviously there's something in there that doesn't look good for TAY, and they're saying this is the path that we would go down, but honestly, they would probably just move on if that's the case. But it seems like they don't want to play this video.
The purpose of 613 is so the jury will see it, not to do it now so that she says, I don't do it, and the jury doesn't get to see the prior statement.
Okay, so everyone, do me a favor. Show her her video.
Your Honor, respectfully, we would object to showing the witness the video outside the presence of the jury.
There we go. There it is. It's all about the timing. It's all about the chess moves. And Judge Boyd, she's over it. Show her the video. Let's get it over with.
All right, so I understand what you all are saying. I want you all to internalize what I am saying. Show her her video. I don't know how many times to say it. Show her her video.
Respectfully, Your Honor, we object to showing her video before the...
All right, objection overruled. Show her her video.
We're trying to get it up on the computer.
Could I ask the witness a simple question that might resolve some of this?
Yes.
Ms. Reyes, did you look at any of your prior statements in preparation of your testimony today?
I have not looked at it. I have watched the video.
You've watched the video?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Your Honor, she's already seen the video.
And what video would this be?
I'm sorry, Ms. Reyes. When we talk about the video, we're talking about the statement you made to Detective Juarez when you were brought over on that warrant from Ector County back in September 2017.
Correct. I don't mind watching the video again.
But you've already seen it.
Yes, but I don't mind watching it again.
Oh man, now she's lawyering up there. Dang, she's smart. She's smart. She's picking up what's going on with the defense. She said, ooh, yeah, I want to see the video. We might have Woody 2.0 on our hands. Yo, she's up there on the offensive now. She said, hey, I see what you're trying to do. Now, let me play that real quick.
Your Honor, the witness has already testified that she's seen the video. I think that we, at this point, can get to just a simple yes or no, did you say that? And if she denies making the statement, we can publish that portion of the transcript.
Show her the video, please.
The video, I believe, is over an hour in length.
All right, show her the video.
She wants to show.
Again, we would object to this.
All right, your objection is noted. And which portion of the video is this about?
Judge, did you want something in particular this portion?
Yeah.
Well, Your Honor,
They're saying the portion with lingerie or something.
I've got 45 clips of different things that I may want to use depending on what the witness answers.
All right, well, show her the video.
Entirety, Judge?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The witness can step down. You all can just show it from the computer in defense. You can watch her watch it from the computer.
Just the computer?
Mm-hmm. You may step down. And court attorney, you can step down.
All right, so she ends up watching the video on her own. I don't believe we get to see any of it, unfortunately. And then they move on. So now we can go ahead. The timing worked out perfect. We can go ahead and get into day 6. And we're going to watch a little bit of that as well. I did not think we were actually going to get into day 6, but we getting in there. So let's go ahead and go into the live coverage here. Let me see if I could pull it up. Wow, what a great witness for the state on this one. She is not playing around. She said, bro, the turnaround and hair grab says it all. That boy is stressed. Oh, man. They did not want this to happen. Let me see if we started with proceedings today. I got to update the title on this, too, because I didn't think we were going to get to see TAY today. And I believe they're going to bring her back up on the stand. Is what's been said.
Yeah,
Hold on a second. We might have a few more minutes.
Do you have headphones or something for her? Do you have headphones or something for her? Well, I think what we're going to do is just use a laptop. Put that to the side.
I don't know how they can show her the video now, but it's not cross-referenced the consistency
laptop where she puts into a chair
because she knows what's coming.
No. Just to have her listening
Just
from the
to let
letter.
it, yeah, not broadcast.
Yes, and then she can sit over there and watch it.
Okay.
Jason.
If you had headphones.
I can go grab.
We have, look at the video.
Oh, okay.
Let's see.
Sure.
Do you want to use headphones or you prefer to keep everything off the laptop?
We would request that you listen to the video on headphones so that the rest of the courtroom is not apprised of the contents of the video.
All right,
No,
that's
we
fine.
want to hear it, man.
Have
Come on.
headphones, or either if you all want, If y'all want to
Does she
listen,
need to watch it in here, or can she watch it?
yes, y'all can go in the back, and counsel, if you want to go to the back with the attorneys and listen to her watch it. Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. You know what? Go through here and I'll meet you over there.
I have an ID to prove it.
Oh, okay. All right. I believe you.
I'm just telling you something. You know what I'm saying?
All right, so we're still waiting for day 6 to begin here shortly. What do y'all think about everything that we've seen so far? I got to shout out my guy, Dr. EJ, up in here, gifting 5 memberships. All right, Dr. EJ, I see you. If you got a membership from Dr. EJ, please make sure that you say thank you to the man. He's absolutely amazing. Always showing up and showing some love. Thank you, Dr. EJ. Thank you to everyone who's liked the video so far as well. So many of y'all in here have liked the video. Over 100% of you stopped by and liked the video. Thank y'all, man. It really does help out a lot. We've got Black Butterfly in here. And she says, in my opinion, he's guilty, but this crime was organized between them all. That's true. But the trigger man, you know, he's going to get a lot of the blame on this one. And I think rightfully so. So who that is, I guess we still have to wait and see. It doesn't matter if all of them plan it together. He who goes to the police first gets the best deal. That's what she did. Dang. I don't know why people downplay snitches, man. Snitches get riches. Y'all seen what Woody did. Woody was out here winning. Now you see this this ex-stripper. What'd she say? She's a hairdresser and doing something else now? I don't know. Anyway, she's out there winning. Snitches get riches. So if you want to win, just make sure you go out there and snitch. You do whatever you want to. You just make sure you snitch on the people that you did it with. Sarcastic, right? Y'all know if Fulton County's watching. They're trying to get me. Did the other people in the car plead guilty to this? Woody is still winning. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. What else are y'all saying in here? Said they just start a Zoom room for Judge Boyd's court. Okay. So we're still waiting on everyone to get in there. I think we're waiting for TAY to get in here too. Actually, you know what? I might save this. We might save day 6 until tomorrow. But I heard they're starting early. Who was in here? Nikki was in here and she's up to date. Nikki, are you actually in? Well, you know what? You probably can't say. I think Nikki is in or near the courtroom. So shout out to Nikki for stopping by, giving us updates in real time. This lady gets on the stand again today to finish questions. Court will begin 9:30 on Wednesday and 9 a.m. on Thursday and Friday. Dang. So we're going to be behind. But with that being said, I can't imagine that they go for too long today. What do y'all think? I like Woody. He made the YSL trial. Shout out to Woody. My only problem with Woody is that he wasn't a proud snitch. He was trying to say he wasn't a snitch. I say, man, if you don't get out of here, he's the chief snitch. We had the Chief Judge Glanville in the trial and the chief snitch Woody up in there. All right, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and shut it down for today, and we'll cover this first thing in the morning, and then we'll get into day 6 and then maybe some of day 7 tomorrow. So we'll probably spend tomorrow on 90% TAY. So y'all make sure you tap in for that. If you haven't yet, like the video on your way out, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any time we go live. Thank you to everyone who supported, sent in the super chats. I appreciate y'all. And y'all know we will be back here tomorrow morning covering some more of this. And I'm sure we'll have some other breaking news as well. Appreciate y'all. Hope you have a great rest of your afternoon. And as always, you know what to do. Keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. We gone. Peace.